What's up, guys? Welcome to the FRV second episode of this week so far. And today's a bit of a mixed topic one. Today is just going to be the mental health conversation today, and we're just on a different array of topics and stuff like that. And we'll just jump straight into it.
Yeah.
How are we doing today?
Yeah, good, brother. Good. It's Wednesday, mate. Halfway through the week.
Yeah,
Nearly there, peeps. Nearly there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there, mate.
So yeah, like I was saying, we've got loads of different things that we're going to talk about today. Kind of from I think what we touched on. We touched on a lot of different topics yesterday's show, but there was some stuff that we kind of want to go a bit deeper into, and stuff like that. Kind of things. I think we were talking about like PTSD and
yes, mate. Yeah.
Stuff like that obviously ex-servicemen suffer with, and loads of different things that's going on.
Well, that's it, mate. Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it'd be good to hear from people, especially if they're live, just like how they cope with it. I was thinking yesterday after we said about it, it was like me and you are very much the same. It's like we need to be 100 mile an hour in our work life. Stuff like
100%.
that. Yeah,
keep yourself busy.
Yeah. 100%, mate. Otherwise, I'll start to implode a little bit. yeah.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah. But I mean, it'd be good to hear like how other people, how other men, and they deal with it.
Because everyone's got their own, I'd like to say, cool little stories going on. But all of it's knowledge as well, and these kind of different stories is how you can get more knowledgeable on certain aspects with obviously mental health and things like that. We did actually have a couple of emails in yesterday from the last show. I said, I don't know, I can't remember the guy's names, but I said I would obviously we'd answer you back on here. Nice. One guy said he's glad to see people talking about this subject.
Yeah.
He agrees that there's not a lot of other people talking about it.
Yeah, man.
So thanks for noticing that, because
brilliant.
A lot of people are saying that, because there isn't a lot of other podcasts out there that are, especially talking about these kind of issues.
Yeah.
They're overshadowed by, I don't know, a lot of stuff that people are concentrating on these days.
It's a stigma, isn't it, as well? I think, it being 2023, there is, there is a lot more, emphasis and, realization that, around the mental health side of things from, so like from my personal one, like say like PTSD from combat and, and all sorts of situations that you go through in the army sort of thing. So, because like you said, back in the day, it wasn't even spoken about, but, and even when you were serving or when you left, lads still didn't speak about it. So it is good to see, there's a lot more understanding as well as acknowledgement, that like it is a massive issue, bud, And
I think that in I know, because I've still got mates now that are still in the military, but they joined a few years after like I'd left.
Yeah.
And even speaking to them, they've kind of said that it is starting to change now, where they actually have kind of therapists in on camps and at the med centre and stuff like that, where they actually can talk to.
Good. Yeah.
Last night,
right.
My mates, and I was sat there like, oh right, I was like, that's actually good then. So something is maybe being done. So it makes me hopeful. Hopefully, then that means then. But then I suppose it depends if they're actually promoting this on camps, because a lot of the guys probably still don't know that that service is being provided in the military now.
Exactly, mate. I think it's like you said as well. Especially, it's like that. I don't like using the term sort of like that alpha male type thing. It's a very macho sort of environment. Being in the armed forces, and regardless of what regiment you're in, but it's like mate. I totally agree with what you said. I hope people are utilising, or they're not embarrassed to go, to go and actually seek that help, and actually go and speak to someone, because, there was kind of, well, I don't use the word welfare, the term is used very loosely, like
the welfare pool table, and
naffy,
maybe a cinema room and stuff.
Most depressing, it made you more depressed being in there, mate. like,
and you sit there and go, how good is this? And you look around and go,
yeah, like,
this is all I've got.
So good. Tidworth was like horrendous for that. The naffy was terrible, man. Germany wasn't too bad because we were on we were in a garrison in Tidworth, but in Germany, in Paderborn, I think the barracks were even bigger. So, the facilities were a little bit better, but yeah, still not nowhere near. But yeah, again, there definitely wasn't anywhere like you said you could go and talk about people about mental health, mate. For sure.
And I think one thing, especially I used to get annoyed about is like the food. The food used to be from camp to camp. It's different, but God, some of the food used to be so bad,
mate. Yeah,
but you'd never complain because you're just paying £1.80,
paying peanuts. Yeah.
So, and especially, I think all military know you get about a week into it and you're fucking skint.
Yeah. Just call it Millionaires Weekend, isn't it? You live in lavish. But there was this, particularly talking about food. I mean, we were in Iraq, and the food was so bad, mate. And the RSM, the chefs, their Razman was like, I'll put a comments book. He was like, don't take the piss, constructive criticism only sort of thing, So we were in the queue, and I remember my mate Roy Gale was in front of me, and he went down to say something. I was like, well, just grab that book there, and I stop putting Viagra in the potatoes. They're hard enough as it is. And I put the book back, and as he picked it up, the Razman's come over and read it, and he seen it, and he fucking chewed Roy up, thinking he'd. So yeah,
that's great.
It's like, oh mate, but again, bless them. I mean, they tried their hardest. We're in the middle of a fucking stressful zone. But yeah, man, the food was terrible. But
I think the funny thing as well, that's like, even going on about potatoes. One time, one of the guys in my camp, this was in I don't know if I can say it, but I'd say in MOD Lynham. And he found maggots in the potatoes.
Oh,
and stuff
no,
like that.
mate.
And he bring them out, and he went back, and then they was trying to say, well, we'll have to give you the money back. And then obviously when the sergeants jumped out, started kicking off at him for making a scene. And I thought, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But these guys busting our ass every day. You need food. But I think even like
at least maggot free would be.
Yeah.
Do you know
we all like
standard
extra protein. That's a bit too far.
Yeah, man, I love it.
Couple extra maggots. But no one likes working out that much.
No. But yeah, no, I'm glad that because it's weird, like, well, not weird, but I suppose for me, like like I said to you, when I come out of training, I was very lucky at the time when we were like you were training for war boys, like you will go to war when you get out of here, and you are so it was very intense, and I think now. And I look back on that, and I'm so thankful because obviously we did go, go in and we did go on tour shortly afterwards. So, but yeah, so it's kind of hard for me to get my head around. I think because the army's changed so much since even I was in, like the lads, some like yourself, I've got some mates that are still in, who are now like RSMs and shit, and it's like it's wild, mate, especially when you think how some of the shit we used to get up to, but you think anyway, and it's like, but even they say it's a different army now. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, I know they're doing tours of Estonia and places like that, they're training Ukrainian troops or whatever, but it's a very different thing for me.
It's even like in I think it was the beginning of 2016 is when the pension changed. So I was obviously on the older pension, or what is now the older pension, which is actually beneficial for when you've left and later on in life. But they changed it now, and they don't even get 50% of what we'll be getting now.
Shit.
So that's obviously, I think when that changed, a lot of people started leaving, and people that were then like we was also training in phase.
Yeah.
After that, then they were quitting. They're within their finish their 6 months, getting to their phase 2, and then they was going, wait on a minute, I'm not going to get nowhere near. That put a lot of people down, because I think, especially like me, where I got injured, so I had to leave after 4 years. Definitely, I was planning to do 12 years. That's what I signed down for. And I was really hopeful for that. And then from like school, that you plan your life, don't you? Like, obviously, you was in a lot longer than I was, but I planned those 12 years, and where it didn't happen, that I felt like absolute shit after that. Which I suppose happened to a lot of people.
I mean, I can only imagine. But I mean, I see some. I mean, for instance, even when we were in training, when we were up in Scotland and we were doing, live sort of pair fire manoeuvre drills and stuff, and we were working with the Coldstream Guards, was up in Gaelic. It's freezing cold, mate, and we you know, as they do, like, you know, we're going bunker busting, and we're in pairs. So it was like one of us and one of the Coldstream Guards lads. We never really worked with them, so we were like, right, you know, want to partner up, off you go. And obviously, of course, being Scotland, fucking freezing. Yeah. There's a stream runs right, like you're going through that. As of course, yeah, we're infantry. Right, okay, perfect. And me and my man fucking set off, bam, bam, bam. We're doing pairs fire maneuver, mate, fucking quick as lightning, you know. Go through the stream, nipper falls over, sort of thing. So I fucking grabbed him, mate. He's like fully submerged. I mean, picked him up. Come on, mate, let's go. Gets up onto the bank of the, you know, wades across it, you know, like sort of stomach height, fucking, you know, something deep. Sorry. Picks my man up. He goes to run. Boss just falls over, and I was like, "Fuck, mate, come on, get up," sort of thing. And when he got up again, fell over, and I could see a tear in the street. One time, ripped over, mate, he fell over on a rock, and I mean, fucking split his kneecap clean in half. And I mean, like someone didn't hit it with an axe and just opened up his kneecap like a jacket potato. But where it was so cold, luckily it must have been on a bit of flint, you know. So he'd gone down where it was so cold, and we were so, you know, your adrenaline's going. You didn't even feel it, mate. You couldn't, you know. But bless us up, when he saw it, fuck me, he just went into shock straight away, you know. And then rightly so, but. Yeah, so
and even still, it's all right. We'll walk it off.
Yeah. Stick a bit of tape around it. Let's go. Come on, FFD. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, mate, FFD, man. I remember. I was quite lucky, bud, because like I said, I did a lot of sport in the army and stuff. And I was, you know, I said predominantly sort of boxing, but we, you know, and then I love my rugby. But you know, you get a battalion, and there's Fijians that would just like make me look like an absolute man child. I'm like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? So I got on the rugby team, but you know, yeah. So I love my Fijian brothers, but you know, so yeah. So they were specifically picked for that. So yeah. And we were like, so this opportunity. We were at, like I said, I've done my hand boxing, and they said, look, do you want to go on the recruiting team? Yeah. So I went on the recruiting team, and we went to Chelsea Barracks, and the bobsleigh team were there, like Dino and Skaz and Pete Gunn and all the lads that got the bronze medal in the Olympics and that, you know, like proper like for all army boys. And I was just like, I said to the boss at the time, I was like, boss, can I go? And he was like, yeah, go for it. Actually, you come from, you know, rugby background, stuff like that, you know, I was quite big, strong. So I did this test, and the lads were like, mate, you'd be a fucking brilliant brakeman. Like, go out to Norway. So we went out to Lillehammer in Norway. And there's like the old Olympic track. And yeah, so we got to do bobsleigh. But every evening we'd have like a communal like dinner thing, you know, a communal meal and everything like that. And mate, the fucking poor bastards that were doing like the luge and the skeleton. More so, I think the luge is head first, isn't it? So more so them poor bastards. They were coming in, mate. And some of them had literally, like, this is what we think FFD, they literally had fucking, you know, 2.5 inch thick field dressings on each shoulder, and the blood was still coming through. But they were just fucking, you know, fucking torpedoing down this track at like head first, you know. I was like, yeah, now I was going to stick to the bobsleigh. But yeah, mate, it was wild, man. I remember we got through all week, brilliant. I remember the last day, there was this little Welsh lad, and he wasn't very confident. So when you do bobsleigh, every morning, like, you walk the track in your mind. So although you walk the track, you when you're the driver, you're like, right, you know, you learn every corner. Do you know what I mean?
Like F1 driver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You literally walk the track, like, okay, you know, so corners 13 and 15 were double pressure corners. So when the bobsleigh would go up, you take the first pressure on the reins, and then the bobsleigh naturally wants to start rising up. Yeah. And you're talking up the rafters like 20 odd foot high, mate. Massive. So if you don't take that first pressure, that bobsleigh is just going to go fucking smash. So you take the first pressure, let it run, and then you feel it start pulling. You take the second pressure. Anyway, so I'm brakeman, and even as brakeman, you know, you got your head tucked between your ass, like, you know what I mean? You're nearly kissing your own bollocks, and you've got the brake in your hands like that, and you're like, so you're responsible for braking. Yeah, so you're like, right, corner 1, 2, 3, so because you know the track, and I remember fucking all week, brilliant, got down there, fantastic. Fucking last day, mate. This Welsh lad, he was a bit nervous. All right, bud, it's my you know, do you want to fancy Joyce? You fancy being brakeman? I was like, oh. Everyone else was like, nah. I was like, yeah, go on then, mate. So, and I remember literally like, we went up into 13. I was like, right, yeah. And then, and everything just went quiet because it's like being in a washing machine, you know what I mean? Everything just went quiet. And I was like, oh. And I just opened my eyes, mate, and we were just fucking flying through the air, mate, where he'd gone up, and then we smashed into the wood, and we come off the track, and then all of a sudden we just went bang on the side, and we were just like, it was like cool runnings. I was fucking bobbing out, and then I'm holding onto the brake. I had black and blue, because the ice burn's weird. Like, it doesn't rip through your clothing, but it burns you. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like friction. Mate, I was fucking black and blue burnt. My neck was fucked. So I went home from fucking Norway on the last day like that. Like, yeah, nuts, man.
We're going next week.
No. But yeah, no. So yeah, but that just reminded me of when, the field dressing thing. But yeah, mate, man, it's crazy.
It's a good week. I think good question as well. I think I know we want to touch on the topic of kind of struggles with PTSD. But where do you stand on it? Kind of like there's so obviously everyone has their own differences and triggers and stuff like that. There's a lot of things, especially ex-military, suffer with mentally and stuff like that, and it's not, and it's harder for them to get help for it because there's not a lot of places out there that can outside of the military anyway that can deal with that.
It's hard, you know. It's like you said. I won't sort of name it, but there's a charity, walking centre for, you know, like I said to you, I've never said to you before, but I went and spoke to them, and I found the guy to be quite arrogant, to be honest, because it not arrogant, ignorant, I think was more the word, because, you know, most, like you said, most PTSD, well, you know, well, not for the most part, but, you know, I know the older generation, you know, First World War, you know, most of it, bless them, and then I've some Second World War, you've got like the Falklands and Northern Ireland, you know, so there are a few of the old boys still, you know, around that I speak to now that served in both, you know. But I think even more so for their generation, I think it's more like companionship. Do you know what I mean? Like I see they do the walk-ins in the mornings and stuff like that, and the breakfast mornings, you know, where they can have a bit of toast, and, you know, but even then they don't talk, man. Do you know what I mean? Their generation's even more, you know, locked up.
Harder for them, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God, mate, there was nothing for them boys, you know. And well, like I said, I was a week old when the Falklands kicked off, you know. So you're talking 40 years now, 41 years ago, and it's like, but I just went and said to him, I said, look, lads, you know, if there's anyone that wants to speak to someone who's been through it, you know, I'm one, you know, I'd love to sit down and have a chat with you. And he was like, no, but I've done Northern Ireland. And so I said, I appreciate that, buddy. I said, but, you know, I know some lads around here. Like I said, you know, to my mate, used to work around the corner, and bless him, he's in a real bad place with it, you know. And I sort of just said, but you're probably going to encounter more lads from like my generation, Afghan and Iraq, that were, you know, but even that, like you said, there's lads. I found it when I was watching that SAS thing, and all you had Benetton talk about was like Afghan. Because even like when their generation, Iraq was done, you know. So I don't want to use the term fortunate, but for me, like, you know, what we did in Iraq was so significant at that time, you know, and stuff like, you know, which again, another thing for me that pisses me off the most is, you know, like I remember when we first went to Iraq, you know, I remember coming home in the combats, you know, and being sat at King Cross Station. Yeah. Me and my mate Reese sat down. Old boy come over and brought us a beer. You know what I mean? It was like, fucking hell, fair play to you boys. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then, you know, Telic 8 was like 2006, second, you know, okay. But then society's views of like, you know, it's almost like, you know, all this, you know, fucking hell, weapons of mass destruction and why we went into Iraq. Do you know what I mean? All that bullshit. Like, as a soldier, you don't get that fucking option, mate. Like, if you're told you're going to Iraq, you go to Iraq. You know, you know,
no question about
exactly, yeah. But what people didn't see was Saddam's like, okay, you know, infrastructure wise, and probably there were certain things in place under Saddam's rule where, you know, that were, you know, obviously it wasn't a war zone, so okay, people were slightly more happy. But like, you know, it was also like, you know, girls weren't allowed any education. You know, fucking boys, you know, after 16 had to join the army. It was like, you know, he's living in a fucking, you know, a tower made of gold blocks. You know, whereas the rest of the country are poor. So there were certain things, you know, he needed to be taken down, mate. He was a fucking tyrant. You know, so. You know, but again, that's above my pay scale. All I'm told is, like, no, you don't go in this because Saddam did it. It's like, right, well, lads, you're going to Iraq. Yeah, you understand the reason to a certain degree why, but, you know, you go in to win hearts and minds, you know, because you're trying to, you know, for this bigger cause that's way above me, you, fucking anyone I even know. And then you got armchair warriors and keyboard, oh, fucking hell, we shouldn't have evaded that.
No.
Yeah, that's not my agenda, mate. You know, like what we did and the good and the change that we made while we were there was, you know, it needed to be done, and it was so significant at the time. Yeah. But like now, society's views of that, because it was like, oh, you know, it was like, oh, well, this, that, and so I find it hard, and I find it fucking infuriating at times, is where both the wars that we fought in were like almost like now dirty wars. Do you know what I mean? People don't want to talk about, like, whereas World War II, don't get me, mate, I'm more than an advocate of. I'll say that, you know, lest we forget, mate. You know, and it was like, you know, they fought for fucking our freedom and that shit. You know, but we also, we wouldn't be. I don't know where we'd be now if the generation that fought in the World War. And then you've got the Falklands War. That was British. So we went down, fucking, we're not having it. We took our territory back. You know, so And it's the same in Iraq. Like, we fought for their freedom. Do you know what I mean? To liberate them from this tyrant. And like things have got to get better before they get worse. And in Iraq now, and like ISIS and fucking the Taliban in Afghanistan, mate. It's like
what's happened recently?
So for me, it was hard, mate, because I was there for the invasion, and I was there when we handed it back over, bud. So and I saw the whole thing, and it was just to watch that kind of all that work we did and all that sacrifices we made and the friends I lost and and stuff like just to be within 6 months of leaving, bam, it went to rat shit again. And it's the same with Afghanistan.
It's almost like Afghanistan just
exactly the same, mate. Just fucking rolled over and
they've left us now, but which wasn't the case anyway.
No, it wasn't.
America that started pulling out and
so it's difficult because there are times when this happens and you look back and think, well, what the fuck was it all for then? But I mean at that time, without sounding heartless, like you're not fighting for Queen and Country, King and Country now, but at the time Lizzie was in charge. So when you're there in the middle of a fucking firefight and you're out, I'm not fighting. You're fighting for your fucking mucker there, and your mucker next to you, mate. Like fuck Queen and Country, like we're doing our job, and it's like and I think that's why like now it does, because there'll never be a remembrance for Iraq or Afghanistan. Do you know what I mean? We remember troops that we lost, but I think that's because
there needs to be, I think, a separate bit for.
Well, mate, like 90, not 90%, but a lot of the generation, especially World War II, them, most of them, God bless them, most of the old boys that fought in that war are gone now. For the most part, So
exactly.
When we have Remembrance Day and you see the lads, they're lads that like sergeants, people that I knew, people that I fought with and served with, that were more like the Falklands. Backwards, from like sort of like Falklands, Northern Ireland, stuff like that, mate. So, Northern Ireland, Falklands, and they're serving to remember their boys, and it's like you said, I don't care if it's Northern Ireland, Kosovo, we've been, Iraq, like, mate, if you just served and you didn't go anywhere, like you're still a soldier, mate, and you remember everybody. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's someone in it died, on the training field, it's like you. So
it's important as well.
I
saw a post the other day, and a lot of people was going, "Oh, should we teach kids to remember?" And I said, "I think it's so important that kids should know all of this history."
Mate, yeah.
And even when I don't know if I will, but even I come to having kids one day, I'll make sure they know everything. I'll teach them to every year to respect and.
Mate,
it's a big important thing, and like you said earlier as well. So all the keyboard warriors that are out there, going, we shouldn't have been there. What was all for and stuff like that. Which obviously there's no comparison, but to put it in a perspective that say these morons can understand is if you're working at a buildings merchants, Tesco, any shop, and your boss comes down and says, right, go and stack that. What, are you going to sit there and go, no? No, I ain't doing that. No. It's obviously there's no comparison at all between these jobs, but so that these, like I said, idiot keyboard warriors can understand, is if your boss comes in and says, right, you're doing this today, you don't sit there, you get fired. You're not going to sit there and say no. It's right, okay, you get doing it. Because there's and in the military only, there's big consequences if you say no.
Well, that's it, mate. And I think that's what, like I said, I know we touched on it yesterday, but it was where we're both from. Like when you said, "Oh, I want to join the army," your mates laughed at you, and I had exactly the same. Even Uncle Dino, do you know what I mean? Like, it was just everyone laughed. Oh no, you won't. You can't got discipline, or coming from a council estate where it's do you know what I mean, man? So you got the discipline, but. It's like when you join the army, it's like you said, do you know what I mean? The idea, like for, I don't know, the generation and now that are like 17, 18, if someone's in your face fucking screaming at you and telling you to do something, they lose their shit, mate. Do you know what I mean? But it's having that discipline or
stay calm.
Like you said, that chain of command, like if you get a fucking order, the army is there because, like, if you go, I don't feel like it. No, mate, like, if you've got fucking half a ton of gear that's got to be moved from one place to another, you get a chain, and in the military, you just got to get the fuck on with it. Like you said, in your cold, you're piss wet through. Do you know what I mean? It's pissing down, or it's minus fucking 15 like we had, and we've been on training in Norway and that. Yeah. And someone wakes you up from your nice warm sleeping bag, go, come on, mate, you've got to go on stag. All you want to do, what I mean? All you want to do is turn around and go, fuck that. But you don't. As a soldier, you just get on with it. Right, okay, get up, get it done. Do you know what I mean? And that's where that discipline in society now, mate, it's lacking massively. And I do hear people say to me, literally, I was talking to an old boy in in Britain today, and he was saying like, he still had this poppy on and that, bless him. And I talked to him, and he said, I think let's bring back national service. But I said, well, I think maybe, but because you imagine some of these fucking lunatics now that go around stabbing each other. Imagine putting a gun in their fucking hands, mate. Like putting a gun in their hands and training them. Exactly. Same as you probably had it in training. I had it in training, mate. There was nippers that were just idle and didn't want to be there. Do you know what I mean? And then when the shit hit the fan, and you realise, oh fuck me, this is reality. Do you know what I mean? This is big boy. It's like
it's all happening now.
And it's the same with like when you have a sickener or you have a beasting, mate. That's designed to weed out the weak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not being funny, but like if you haven't got that fortitude or you haven't got that like that why, do you know what I mean? Like, why do I want to be here? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
If you haven't got that why, then being in the army is a fucking hard place to be, mate.
I think what done it for me is because I think you probably have. I was sat there before. I remember doing especially like phase 1 training as well, where I joined at 16. Mine was 6 months.
Yeah.
And I was in Harrogate.
Yeah.
That's where I done my phase 1 training. People can search it up. And I remember I was getting in, I was doing it, and I so many times, go to the toilet and you sit looking in the mirror going, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing something? I'm doing that? My mates warm house doing college and stuff like that. But for me, it was whenever I went home or family's day and stuff like that, seeing all my family's faces light up and everyone going, so proud, this is amazing. And everyone wanting to take photos, stuff like that. For me, that's what made it worth it. The thought of people were like, I can't believe you've done it. That's so great like that. That's for me. That's what done for me. I was like, do you know what? Just them smiling back at me. The next time I was on stag and they wake me up, I was like, oh fuck it. I think the important thing as well, because in loads of job places I've been in, different things. I've worked for different car companies and stuff like that. As a mechanic. And so many times where it's been like, oh, they've asked me to go work outside. I've got to get these tyres set up and do that. It's raining though, and you're like, so just go out and do it. Let's go and do it. Get a bit wet so we can dry off.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you'll dry off. But it's things like you said, like stag as well.
Yeah.
The kind of different mentality you've got to have is if you mess up on stag, people die.
People die, mate. Yeah,
That's literally.
That's the
You don't know how important kind of job roles are, do you? Until like literally, if you do not do certain things in the military, it's people's lives at risk.
Mate,
So it's a bit hilarious, like. It might sound big-headed, but it's a bit hilarious sometimes. Like, probably been the same in certain situations. People moan about certain things, and you sit there going, "So, just get on with it." What are you moaning for? Who cares? It's a bit of rain like that. It's a cold, just fucking get on with it.
I think that's what with my missus and that. Sometimes when I do things, and I get a and she's like, I think you've got ADHD and whatever, But I'm like, no, it's just because. When I get an idea in my head, I'm like, no, I'm going to do that. Do you know what I mean? If that's what I want to do, like we touched on yesterday, it's like just finding those little paths or picking up a hobby or something like that to help you with, if you're struggling, with your sort of your mental health sort of things, or can be. And again, like you said, PTSD, the spectrum's massive. It doesn't have to be combat, industrial forces. It could be trauma, it could be anything. Anything in your life can trigger that. So. But and it's just sort of finding that, I don't know, that sort of a release, isn't it? Or what works best for you.
And the thing, that's sort of one of the important things. Like I said in yesterday's show, so just writing things down that make you happy, or if you find yourself in a bad mood and you do something, you go, oh, that's made me feel better. Write it down so you remember it. And then next time you're feeling that, try to do do the same thing. And then you can expand on it from there and hopefully help. Because I remember. One of my old sergeants, I can't remember how many years ago now, quite a few years ago now, he said like one of the things that used to set him off was like the smell of burning tyres. He smelled that and used to mess him up big time. And he said that was from Afghanistan.
I mean, there is, that's the thing. I mean, especially, especially in Iraq, like, like when ID goes off and, like that, you never kind of forget that smell sort of thing. And, I mean, I was working, I had one with, I was working with my mate Matty. This is out in Stevie Street, and he's got a cladding business, right? So, and so we were doing this job, a big job. We were out there for a couple of weeks, and beautiful out, sunshine out in summertime. But every couple of times a day, this smell of like shit would waft across, and I was like, "Fuck!" I mean, it was horrendous. You know what I mean? And without sort of subconsciously, like I'm like, I kind of recognize that. You know what I mean? Like, and it went. So, but we'd be out there all day, and then it would waft across and blow across, and we'd be breathing it in all day. And then we realised that the crematorium was across the road. But after about 2 weeks of, and we were like,
that's really that's
when the reality set in, I was like, yeah, that's why I remember that smell, and also that we've been sort of breathing in, so that was like we're like, oh yeah, that's so. But yeah, so you kind of never forget that smell, mate. Unfortunately, but I don't know, mate. It's
a lot of people got like loads of different triggers, but it's hard to give advice on stuff like that, because if you get triggered by certain aspects in life that obviously brings you back to that memory, it's hard to try and advise people on how to not let it happen. You can. It's something. Like the only thing is, like, if like planes set you off or something like that, try to maybe listen to music if you're out and about, and try it's a hard topic, really. But if anyone who's watching, if you do have coping mechanisms you use and your triggers and that, please email it in. So obviously we can talk about it on the next show, and give us a bit more knowledge about other people and ex-servicemen and stuff like that. So it's all good.
Look, it sounds like a bit of a sort of not of a cliche, because I think those who have experienced it will understand. But like fireworks, man, it's so when you see like war films and it's like bang 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 bang, when you're up close, like it's but it's so fucking weird how much, like, when you hear fireworks in the distance, how much it sounds like a firefighter contact. And those are the times when and it's not all like in a negative thing. Like for me, like and there'd be people that are watching like, fuck, I miss it, man. Like, oh mate, like, it's like a drug. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you've experienced it, it's like
high adrenaline.
I mean, there's we were in some fucking wild contacts, and and I think like there are the bad times, but like I always say to people, like, I would never change. I don't regret any of it. I mean, of course, if you can see friends that I've lost and I'll definitely change that, but and even in combat as well as after, like I said, from suicide and drug overdoses and stuff like that, lads have
but that's the thing. It's such a shame.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it's Remembrance Day and stuff. That's why it's so important, because to honour them.
Yeah, massively, mate. Yeah. I mean, and that's one thing I've kind of not been practicing or preaching or but I'm trying to like embrace it. Like the Mexicans, like, Day of the Dead, and like it's almost like celebrating them. Do you know what I mean? I know it's a hard thing to celebrate people, but it's. If we kind of like trying to like embrace that, or I'm trying to sort of like.
It's good on
do you know what I mean? I know it sounds
out there.
They
get them back.
They go over there and they celebrate their life rather than they're mourning it. They take them gifts and stuff like that on the day they died, and they go to their grave and they decorate them, and and it's celebrating their life, rather than mourning their death, and I think I know it's an out there concept for us. Like in the UK, we don't do that, but. I think if you can, then I've been I'm trying anyway. I've lost friends and family and stuff like that. And you sort of think, well, remember the happy times and the good times, and of course it's easier said than done, and you do get upset. But I don't know, mate. It's just it's sort of food for thought. It's something that I've been trying to.
It is a good idea.
Embrace a little bit,
Like Mrs. Nan passed away not too long ago, just over a year now.
Yeah.
And then because obviously Mother's Day. We went, took flowers there for her and stuff like that. And do you know, it's strange. So I was looking around, and there's got to be, at this graveyard we was at, there's got to be the best part of maybe, I don't know, let's say 5,000 to 10,000 graves there, if not more, maybe.
Yeah.
And there's probably 8 people there. Two of them was me and Mrs. And I'm looking around and I'm seeing all of the new graves. Obviously, it's a time thing. We went about midday. Maybe people went in the morning. But even still, I thought, why not, with all the mothers and nans or whatever that passed away? Why was it's not filled with people?
Exactly.
I didn't have your idea, but that is such a good idea. I was sat there thinking, why is there not more people here celebrating? And even there's even ex-soldiers in the graveyard.
Well. Bless them.
It's a sad concept, because I walked over to those ones just for being exponential.
Of course
myself,
you do,
just
yeah.
to have a look at them, read the name and stuff like that. Show some respect. But I was kind of sat there thinking, I wonder how these men have forgotten. And stuff like that. But I think the concept's actually really good.
Mate. Honestly, I mean, without sounding like. Well, I mean, I don't think it's just. It's not a disrespectful thing. Like, my girls used to go because, growing up, for us as kids, it was like, oh my god, the graveyard's a scary place now. I take my girls up. I'll take my girls, and we used to walk through because they're so peaceful. And then you see the flowers that have laid through it. And obviously, there are people that have been gone, like, from the 1600s. So there's the old graves and stuff like that. And it's like, it's not fascinating. I don't not sound morbid, but then like you said, you do go to see anything. I think, oh bless them, so. Yeah, you do, and it's almost like you pay a little bit of respect as you're going through, or if you see like a soldier, ex-soldier's grave and that, like even from, it's like their life. Like I went to a wedding in Petree. I didn't realise there was a guy there who changed maritime law forever. Like I didn't realise, but So he was, I think he was. I can't remember the guy's name now, but there was a pamphlet inside the church, and the lady gave it, and it was like basically he was wounded. And they were on the raft, and they ate him, like to survive, And like his, mate, I'm trying to. I don't want to misquote it, but so basically they ate part of him to survive, and then that changed maritime law. I can't remember what it was for, but it was a massive law that got passed after like they ate him and stuff. So
It's mad,
it's wild, mate. Changed that. But he was like a local Woolston lad, and he's buried in Woolston. But when you read this grave, I think it's Pete or something, and he's got a massive gravestone. And the guy pointed it out to me, and I was like, wow, it's part of history. But so mate, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a strange concept, isn't it?
But like when I walk through graves, like, I take my girls for them. We'd walk through and you'd read them and see the dates and stuff like that, and it's like it's quite interesting, you know what I mean? But I think
a good concept. For me though is so I went to France. All the beaches.
Look at
the graves.
Brilliant.
That would probably set a lot of people off, but I couldn't help there and look and like kind of smile to myself because it was great to be kind of a part of it.
You
look at loads of stuff. The battery, the gun batteries are still there. Like even like where the shells hit and stuff like that. Those marks are still there. Like history is still there, and I ignore that. Sorry guys, we are live on TikTok on the phones as well, so if you hear other noises, it's just that. It's like, and I was looking at how perfect the time they took to lay these graves out from D-Day landings, especially and stuff. Like a lot of the Americans out there, they are lined up.
Oh mate, it's like pinpoint accuracy. It looks stunning, doesn't it? Without being
It was. You sit there and you kind of smile like this.
Yeah, because
So nice. I want to take my missus there one day. I keep on about it.
Yeah. Oh man. Same. I like it, even for me. Like again, it's over here. I think because the British culture, we are different. Although we have Remembrance Day, I know we are different people. But I remember, like it upsets me to some degree that like how proud the Americans are of their troops. You know what I mean? And we don't have that same attitude.
We've got none of that.
Because this is what I was trying to get at before. Like you remember, like first tour, you got a bottle of beer. Second tour you come over in your combats. Oh, lads, well, because we were at that time. We had like SF units attached with us. And there was intense fighting still going on. And on the second tour, we were still in 5-6 hour contacts. And so it was like. But then when it's like Afghan or even now, like when you see a troop walk around, like the lads that were in their combats, like people look at them like, "What the fuck do you think you are walking around in your combat? You think you're fucking hard and that?" Like, and it's like. It's such a weird, like, if I see lads walk through, like especially not like a garrison or like around here, because you don't see a lot of troops walking around, people don't even look at you, look at a bit of shit or won't give you two it's like, but we went to America and I remember being at SeaWorld, watching like the Shamu thing and that before they stopped it all. And I remember before there was 3 performances and at the beginning of every performance they said, is there any like British or American troops here that have served in Iraq or Afghanistan? Can you please stand up? And I was like, my missus went, stand up. I said, no, you are. Stand up. And then fucking stand up, give you a round of applause. And I got emotional. Like, I got quite choked up because it was like, for me, I never, people were looking at me, come up, fucking shake them hand, and clapping you and that, like, thank you for your service and sort of thing. And it's like, wow, man, like no one's ever said that to me before. Yeah. Not that I think I deserve that, you know what I mean? But to be acknowledged,
No, I think everyone who's done it, like you lot, should be acknowledged because, like you said, you see so many videos and like on YouTube and stuff in America, and there's so many people would walk into a shop like, I was ex-force, and they're like, oh, fucking thank
Yeah,
you for your service,
yeah.
like that. You
Beautiful,
get
man.
none of that here. I remember even like training, everyone would be like, don't wear your combats and that outside because you could get attacked.
Is that yeah?
You being serious?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
It's a weird concept.
It's
that you
mad,
have to
isn't
be
it?
careful. You couldn't even wear your own your job.
Yeah.
Because there was threats out there that you could be attacked for it. But that's what I mean. Even like out and about shopping, or weekend out for a meal, and especially near Remembrance Day as well. When I see like kind of the older boys and they're all in there, I go over and say hello to them and stuff like that. And like you said, and everyone does ignore them.
Yeah.
Walks past and like, and they just don't. They just They don't know where they'd be now without everyone that's done all.
Because exactly, mate. I mean, because it's even for me, like you take off my generation off the table and that completely, but like this wasn't like when you think of the lads that fought in fucking World War I, World War II, like they fought for our freedom, and it wasn't like like, I know a lot of like that term gets used a lot, especially with like American troops. They fought for our freedom and stuff like that, but. Domestic sort of terrorism in America is massive. Like the gun violence was fucking school shootings, mate. Which is man,
there's been another one recently.
Yeah, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is
But you can't take their guns away.
But Joe Rogan touched on it when he said there's more fucking guns being made than there are people in America, man. Like, well, who needs more than fucking one? It's like, come on.
That's a funny thing because
mate,
it's a different subject, but like, I've even asked, I spoke to Americans on TikTok and stuff, and they go, I need it for my protection. Protection from what? People with guns. Well, if they didn't have guns as well. What do you need?
Well, that's exactly.
Someone might try and invade. It's like, it happens here in England. You use your fists.
But even that though, it's not. It's all they're stabbing each other now.
It's now,
But and that's what I said to my missus the other day. I was like, can you imagine, like, even in here and countrywide, but even in Southampton, that's all you hear at the moment, like stab, and they're like 13, 14 years old. People, and stabbing another fucking kid, mate. Like you're still a child, effectively. I know you're a teenager, but and I said to my missus, imagine if we had more guns here. Like every stabbing that we've had recently would probably be someone's been shot fucking dead. Do you know what I mean? There'd been a shooting, and there'd be someone that the kid would have been killed.
That easy, it'd probably be multiple.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not, because that's what, exactly. Because if to stab someone, you've got to be in close proximity. To go, bang, come. You don't have to be anywhere near them.
But don't you say like the difference? A bit of a deeper topic.
Yeah,
shooting is not as personal as stabbing. To get up close with someone and to stab someone, that's such a personal thing. Like a lot of people know and stuff. But it's like, and it's teenagers. I'm like, as a teenager, I was worried about what new Pokemon's out.
I was like falling out of trees and that, and playing with sticks
and stuff like that. Why my friends started looking at speaking to the girl that I sent a note to in class. Like, when I was a kid, it was so there was no nice. You'd have a dispute with someone in a fight. You'd meet down at the park after school, one-on-one. Right. Now it's groups of teenagers. I know, especially in London, it's really, really bad. It's bad in all parts of like the UK, but in London, it's so It's even after I was on Just Parody Things podcast, the pre-game show, we walked back to the car, and we was only it was probably like a 2.5 minute walk around the corner, and I always explained to Miss, I said like the nightlife in London, you got to be very careful because a lot of people go to London during the day and think it's this beautiful place, and I said it's not. I goes, don't care. I goes, some places are. I goes, but at night if you're not in a hotel, get out of there. And we walked around the corner, and there was a group of 7 guys beating the crap out of someone and stuff like that over drug money and things like that. And I was like, grabbing my missus, like, mate, like, come on, let's go around it, like. As soon as we walked out the door, that was out there. I remember getting in and I said to her, like, told you so. Because this is what London's like. You've got to be careful out there.
I mean, that's like you said, mate. I mean, I think that's true of a lot of places, though, isn't it? Like you said, it's just. But I mean, man. I mean, unfortunately, like I said, there's places everywhere in countrywide where you just at night time. But again, like we touched on yesterday, prevention's better than the cure, man. Like, unfortunately, just you just avoid it, innit? Just be smart and like you said, man. Just it is difficult. I said I know because. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it, I've experienced it, in a lot of places where it's just like, but again, like we said about women, you should be able to dress how you want and walk through a park at night, but you just can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
But they think they're the only ones, and they're not. Like, I would even suggest that sometimes in society, men are more likely to get attacked than women because a lot of men see you as another threat.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there is that. There is a tricky one. Yeah, there is another dimension to it, isn't there? Yeah. It's like you said, you could be out in the club, say with your missus or whatever, or in a club or something like, and it's like there's always going to be someone who's out, just want to fight. There's always going to be that idiot or idiots, like you could have, it's so there's just. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. It's a tough one, isn't it? But yeah, definitely.
And you've got to be careful because you don't know people's backgrounds.
Well, this is it, mate.
It's people like majority of people being ex-army. They've done a lot of fight training, and actual fighting in their career. And you see a lot of people just going out, starting fighting, and think one day you're going to walk up to the wrong person and be very sorry.
Well, this is I mean, even when when we grew up, there was always this, that, and he's so and so, and he's so. But then, I've trained in like gyms up and down the country all my life, like MMA gyms and stuff like that. And there's guys in there, mate, they don't do that shit for this is a living for fucking people up. Do you know what I mean? And and the people that you look at and think, mate, they'll take your fucking temple off your face before you put your fucking fists up. Do you know what I mean? So, you just, like you said, mate, you just don't underestimate, when you go to jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, there's like girls there, some 9.5, 10 stone. Before you know it, mate, you go to sleep. Do you know what I mean?
So like a pretzel.
It folds you up like a, so you just don't underestimate anyone. And I think that's why, like being 41 and getting a bit older now, I'm like, I need to like sort of chill out and just sort of like pick my battles, not pick my battles, but just like we said, just fucking walk away, mate. Just learn to, I'm getting there.
Calm down, mate.
Calm down and just shut the fuck up and walk away.
Yeah.
Which is easier said than done sometimes, but it's not like I'm scared. But again, it all comes down to prevention being better than the cure, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like because you don't. It is, mate. Yeah, it's massively. Like you could be getting on with some little kid, mate, and before you know it, he's fucking put a knife in you, and you're like, well, and that happens. People don't think, but this is what I've had all my career in the army and outside. I did close protection, didn't I, for many years, mate, and I looked after all sorts of people, and for a friend of mine. He got me jobs I would never got in a million years, mate.
Yeah.
Worked on sets with fucking Steven Spielberg, man. Like, all, Guy Ritchie, all sorts of people I've looked after.
Yeah.
So it's but again, it's just that was always that thing. Even when you're in that industry and you're kind of aware of them situations. I said, fucking avoid it, mate. Box around it, move on. You live to fight another day. It's like you could get into an argument with someone, but like I said, you don't know what they're capable of, what they're fucking, or even their mental state. Like we said yesterday, you can encounter some twat in the street, but he might have just been told his mum's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his mum, so that's kind of what the mindset I try to get myself in. Maybe he's just had a shitty day like me, or I've had a shitty day. And you do, it attracts it. Like when you're having a shitty day and you get in the car and you're like, fuck, you driving like a twat and you get all aggressive. You don't let someone out and they fucking up your ass and they're tailgating it. You're getting out the car. So it just fucking snowballs, mate. So it's just like meeting that energy in it, and just like we said yesterday, just trying to what we said, just I'll get in the car. Well, I know I'm going to encounter some pricks on the road, and I allow for that. You know what I mean? So when I get from A to B, I'm like, oh, okay, I haven't got out of the fucking car and nearly choke someone out. You know what I mean? But yeah,
but then that's like another thing towards women as well, because even like obviously some women saw the show yesterday and it was like a biased opinion. A lot of women agree and going, yeah, no, you're right. Women do need to dress like this, but they still kept saying, but men need to, and it's like, you're not understanding. You're not getting the point. Is regardless, some men, you will never change their actions, their feelings, thoughts. You can't change it. But what you can do is try to change their perception of you. So I mean, no control here whatsoever. It's just advice.
No, that is a rough one. Yeah, and again, it kind of, like you said, it works both ways, isn't it? Because I think from without saying, oh my god, look at me, I'm a fucking angel. Like I know that in myself, that like my kids mean more to me than fucking anything on this planet. Do you know what I mean? Like as much as I love anyone else in my life, my kids would always come first. And it's like that saying, and I don't want to sort of cast for you, but when you say like I love you, but I don't like you. My girls understand the difference between right and wrong. They're 7, 9, and 12, and they know how much it hurts me. But even when I tell them that, like, babe, look, you're hurting, Daddy, when you treat me like this, I just get laughed at. So. And they know the difference between them. They understand what they're saying to me, but because their mum has trained them or programmed them and put it into their your dad's this, your dad's that, your dad doesn't matter. It's like we were saying about Remembrance Day. Like even when we were family, me and my girls used to be, oh yeah, and they'd make me little pictures. I'm proud of Daddy, and he's a soldier, and I've still got them on my phone. Like Lani's 12, mate, and I've still got pictures. Yeah, but like now, she doesn't want to know me. They don't want to talk to me. But so when I remember those pictures and that, like it kills me. But but like now, none of that gets remembered. They don't care, and it's like it is hard because when I speak to a lot of mums that split up with their exes and the people that I know, do you know what I mean? Like, again, I don't sound I'm fucking amazing, but I'm not that at all. But I am one of a very few people. Like I said before, I know lads that couldn't give a shit about their kids. They see them,
Yeah, they're out there, aren't they?
Yeah. And I like even like when me and my missus got together, I remember she said to me like, I want to have a baby. Do you know what I mean? I was like, hey, look, we're not going there. But it was just because her ex was, like. Yeah, well, I won't go into that, but yeah. So the father of our kids, should I say? But she said, look, when I see you with your girls and how loving and how much it made me so fucking broody, and it was like, I want you to, and it was like, yeah, and I totally get it, but I just, and I do like I'll put my kids before anything. So to the fact that I can't do that, when I see these guys that. That are in relationships and they're down a pub drinking and then they don't do shit with their kids and like it fucking infuriates me, man, because I'm like, you're taking that shit for granted. Do you know what I mean? Well, me and my missus were together 15 years, and although it didn't work out and we split, like you never know what's around the corner, like So when I see these dads that don't take their kids out, they don't do this and they don't do that, and it's like, or they split up and they don't see the kids, and I'm like, and I'm here fucking begging to see I'm begging my own fucking children to see me, and they won't. And it fucking kills me, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's why, like, I'm a Larry fucker, like I am, like, because, like I said, I'm on this constant fucking loop. It's like, I want, if I don't message him, I'll beat myself up. If I do message him, I'm going to get ignored. And I'm like, why? Just fucking speak. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so it infuriates me when dads take the, so I do understand that some women, and through no fault of their own, it's because you're a product of your your own experiences. They're only speaking on what they've been through. Like their ex might be a fucking idiot or deadbeat. He doesn't want to know his kids. You know what I mean? Doesn't want to pay for his kids, and it's like, I'm here like fucking begging to see my own children, and I'm not, and so I understand and I empathise with every woman out there going, oh well, this that and because but that's their experience. You know what I mean? You can only comment on your experience, can't you? Like what you've been through. So there's no right or wrong. So no one's right and nobody's wrong. But I just feel like you said, there's so many more cases of where the dads just we just don't get as many fucking rights. Anything goes wrong, the mum's like, mum, they say with the kid, we agreed joint custody or joint access. I was supposed to have my girls every other day, mate, and it's never fucking happened. I said, they've got a bedroom, mate. I painted it every colour they wanted. I did unicorns. I did fucking everything. Got them a little TV and everything. Mate, never spent a fucking night in that room. Do you know what I mean? Because it was just like she emotionally fucking crippled my kids because they're like, I can't. I remember there were times I'd pick them up. And it would be like, and my middle one, I won't say her name, but like she was going to stay at ours, and my youngest didn't want to, so she went home. And my middle one, bless her, she was so brave. She was like, "Oh, Daddy, I'm a bit worried," but I said, "I don't know." I left my bedroom. Then my bedroom, I left the bedroom door open. We put a film on. We'd had dinner, had a bath, settled down. I said, "Darling, you watch whatever you want," And then she was like, and then stupidly, I went, "Do you want to say goodnight to Mummy?" As soon as she saw her face on that fucking phone, she just broke down in tears. "Oh, Mummy, I want to come home." No, any normal parent or a mature parent would have gone, "Don't be silly, darling. I'll see you tomorrow." No, because I watched the look of satisfaction on my ex's face. And she went, "Oh, yeah, you come on home, darling." So I've got to pack my daughter up, take her home at like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And then literally, by the time she got from the top of this landing to the door we were going, she was right at train. And my missus walked in. She went, "Oh, where are you going, babe?" "Oh, I'm going to go home." And my missus went, "Why?" She went, "Oh, I don't know." She couldn't tell us why she wanted to go. It's because my ex-missus has become this emotional, crutch for him. Yeah, mate, massively. I mean, I even went to social services, but because my kids were in no immediate harm of, they just basically said, I ain't got a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
And like I said to you, before, mediation. What's the point of me? It's not me wasting the money, but it's like, well, they do not want to see me. They won't even answer my texts. And I said to Tansy before, but darling, why don't you want to see me? I don't know. Yeah, they can't tell me because it's not their fault. No. And it's emotional fucking blackmail, mate. Of my own children, and it's like, but yet I haven't got a fucking leg to stand on, mate. Yeah. It's wrong, man. Like I said, so I'm not going to stand there and go, fuck me, I'm the father of the year, any woman's wrong. Like I get it. Like every woman that, like you said, has comment on your thing. that's their experience because they've had an experience with a shitty ex, and and that's it was like, but it's like you said, it is hard, bud, because it takes two to tango, like you said, and there was times where she didn't work for 10 years, mate. I mean, I was earning good money, I was out in the middle, so and that's not me being a chauvinist. You don't have to go to work. Like, mate, I would have fucking loved to do because it took the pressure off me. But
you take pride in it.
Yeah,
it's hard work.
Yeah, I'm providing for my family, and I was massively proud of that. And I had a a title, and I had a sense of purpose because I'm out. Like you said, even when I was out in Afghan or Iraq and places like that, and I'd always look at the moon. I think I wonder if my girls could see the same moon because there's only a cut out, and bits and pieces, and it gets you through that day. You know what I mean? And there's little things like that. But and then I don't know.
But you know that. But saying about stuff like that, because obviously, like we said yesterday, that the justice system favours women, and that's what infuriates me so much when you see all these women out there going, "Oh yeah, us women are out here breaking barriers." And look, what barriers do women have today?
Yeah.
That men don't.
Yeah.
Look, and I'd love to, if you're watching this, like we said, email in. What is there? Because I can't think of one. I really cannot.
Yeah.
Obviously, apart from the majority of women won't be able to walk home at night. Apart from that, but even still, men walking on their own can get attacked as well, and a lot of them do, and stuff like that. Being robbed and so on. But that's something that really infuriates me all the time. There's a woman out there. Oh, we got to suffer with this. We got to suffer when the father don't want to see the kids, and it's all every father I've ever spoke to wants to see the kids, but the wife, missus has made that impossible for people to do that. And things like that, and that's when we got friends that we know and stuff like that. They ain't here anymore because of the women like that. But then the thing is women won't shame each other for this.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like men are always first to shame each other. If you know someone who isn't, like you said, you'd be like, why are you not seeing them? Pay more attention. Go and do this. Go do that.
Yeah.
But then, like we said earlier, there's someone out there that might be watching this now. Years have been fighting and they've given up. You're not a bad person at all. At some point, you've got to.
Yeah, you've got to learn. Yeah, what's best. I mean, like you said, buddy. Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, having personally been through it myself, like you said, there was years of I was sleeping on the sofa. My ex was in the bedroom, and it was just sort of like, and the girls, over time they pick up on that, and it's such a hard situation. But I remember when we sort of, well, like I said, we sat in this very room, mate, and we had the conversation, and it was like, I remember the fucking weight of the world just being lifted off my shoulders. But then it was like, shit, what about the girls? What's do you know what I mean? And then it's like, well, okay, back to reality sort of thing. But I didn't think it would ever go this way, where she would emotionally blackmail my kids into not wanting to see me. Do you know what I mean? But for what reason?
It's kind of like they have their own pedestal, don't they? It's like they have their trophy kids. Someone used before. It's like that's their trophy. Look what I've got. But as I know from previous experience, and that kids grow up, and one day they will realise that of what you. If you manipulate stuff like that, they'll grow up, hit 18, and they'll go, hang on a minute, this stuff will get explained to them. It can reverse.
I mean, it does, mate.
Stuff like that. So,
because that's what I had. Like I said, all my mum ever said about my dad was like, I said, oh yeah, your dad's a prick, your dad's this. Never explained to me like why. And it wasn't until my uncle said they just weren't good together. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, my mum was 30, had 3 kids. My 2 brothers and my sister, and then. Then I came along. My dad was 19. Like, how many 19-year-olds do we know that would stick around with 30-year-old 3 kids? And as shit as it was for me, like, I still lost my fucking dad. Do you know what I mean? I was the kid out there waiting for. My dad said, "I'll come out and pick you up." I was the fucking kid out there for 2-3 hours, mate, sat on the pavement waiting for him to turn up in the fucking pouring hot sun. And I wouldn't move because my dad was coming to see me. Do you know what I mean? And I hadn't seen the fucker for 2 or 3 years. But it'd get in touch every now and then, and it'd be like, right, I'll come pick you up. So it was me out there, So. And it was, like on the flip side of it, it was always, because I look notably different. I'm bigger than my brothers. Because I look, my dad was a big guy. It was like, because I looked like my dad, I was, almost. Well, I was almost like fucking penalised for that. Do you know what I mean? I remember mum beating the shit out of me because when I was a kid, I couldn't fucking walk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the most stupid things, And even to my dad's dying day, and my dad was dying in hospital, and I remember my uncle saw, my mum thing. And she went, oh, and I said, oh, Tony, he's dying. I think you're going to. My mum just fucking laughed, smirked, and walked away. Do you know what I mean? And as much, fucking hell, mate. You know, I'm 41 years old. He left when I was probably, I think, about 18 months old. You know, I was a baby when he left. So to hold on to that, you know, fucking hell, mate. Just, you know, it's like.
Do you know what something I've realised as well, though? Like, obviously, because I'm about to say this, and women that go, "There's so many evil men out there." You're right. But do you know what? When I've come across evil women, the kind of things they do, I've never heard of a man doing. Like some of the evil, and they don't even realise. Like even the majority of women in relationships use sex as manipulation. You know, if you do this to me, do that to me, I'll give you sex tonight, and they withhold it in a relationship. That's toxic manipulation. You are manipulating your partner by doing that. And there's all these little things that women do that I don't even think they know they're doing. But and then for them to kind of say he was a piece of shit and stuff like that. And in loads of the cases, a lot of single mums say that, don't they? Like, oh, your dad was a piece of shit and stuff like that. Oh my god. Always something. But no, like, and in a lot of the cases, the mum hasn't even told the dad that she's pregnant and you know what I mean, and has had a kid and stuff like that. So like, sometimes the dad's completely in the dark on it. And then women somehow still try to flip it that it was his fault. But like you said, like, you know, some people weren't good together. Maybe he had real bad, and you don't even know these things until you get older, do you? But sometimes he had some big struggles where, for his own health, he had to disappear and stuff like that. You just don't know. But I think it's really unfair when women just put men under the same umbrella. You know, they're trash pieces of shit and stuff like this. When when we do it, we're kind of ridiculed for it.
Yeah, mate, definitely. Yeah, I think, like you said, that, you know, it's like you should never tar everyone with the same brush, isn't it? You know, like, you know, each individual case is different and stuff like that. You know, and you know, it was, but like you said, it was never explained to me, like, you know, like until I spoke to my uncle, and then he said, you know, your mum made it very difficult for your dad to see you. Do you know what I mean? So, exactly, because of their relationship, you know, and people do say to me all the time, "Oh, don't worry, mate, you know, it'll be all right. Give them a few years." But like, I want to see my kids now. Do you know what I mean? My girls are 7, 9, and 12. I can't wait 5, 10 years for them to turn around and go, "I want to see my dad." Like, you know, and it like I kind of get in my own head, because sometimes I'm thinking, like, what is she fucking telling them? Do you know what I mean? Like, I want my girls to know that I love them, and I text them every day. I love you, babe. You know, I get ignored every day, and I don't know if they're seeing them, because last time she blocked me on the WhatsApp and all sorts and stuff. So, you know, it's like, even like my birthday. I was so surprised, but my oldest like messaged me, and it made my day. You know, it was fucking amazing. I was like, oh wow, you know, just little things. Yeah, just little things. Yeah, so I was like, shit, she remembered. You know, but no one else. You know, but. Yeah, so it is hard. You know, I know people are meaning well when they say that. Like, oh, don't get me wrong. You know, like I did, I understood how it was. You know, my mum made it difficult for my dad. But like I said, you know, I was 13. He moved up the road, and then so from 13 to 16, we kind of had a bit of a relationship again. We started getting to know each other, and then, like I said, he died because of, you know, his alcoholism and stuff like that. So that was difficult, because, you know, we were just getting to sort of know each other a little bit again. But even on that, like, it was. I remember when we'd go up there and, you know, 13, 14, and my mates thought it was cool. Oh, yeah, your dad lets you drink. I don't want a fucking drinking buddy. I want a dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and that's why, like, with my mum and my dad and how they were, that's why, you know, I always vowed to be a fucking parent to my girls that they never were. You know, and even like now, you know what I mean? I you know, I said I worship my girls, and I just want them to fucking, you know, I just want to have a relationship with my girls, you know. I just want to see my kids, man. Do you know what I mean? It's not a lot. I mean, they live 2 minutes away from me, you know, so it's like, but
hopefully I've opened that women who might be watching this and stuff like that can actually see what it does to a man.
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
you know, and if you are one of these women that's doing it, you're fucking criminal, man. Like,
it should be a fucking, it should be a crime, mate. Yeah. Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, there's not a lot of things, like I said. You know, I'm like, like if you are stopping your kids seeing your dad because of your own fucking hate, then you're an asshole, and fucking stop it. I'm telling you now, like, and I will fucking say that, like, fucking stop it. Do you know what I mean? Because it fucking ruins lives, mate. Like, and like you said, you know, I'm not going to tar every woman with the same brush, and I'm not going to fucking, you know, I know everyone's relation and everyone's experience is different, but if, you know, like I said, if there are any women watching this and you're fucking stopping your kids seeing their dad because of your fucking hate for that person, whatever, like, get the fuck over yourself and let them be a dad, mate, because it's ridiculous. That's, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you know, I fucking, you know, I love my kids more than anything, but like, I know being a full-time parent, whether it's a mother or a dad or whatever, you know, It's the fucking hardest job in the world, mate. It is fucking hard looking after kids on your own. And this is what I'm trying to say. Like, you must need a fucking rest. Like, to my ex-missus, I mean, she must. There's got to be times where, but she'd rather drop them off at her fucking 75-year-old mum's house who can't barely look after them than let them come and see their dad. Do you know what I mean? You know, the amount of times, and I'm like, it's supposed to be my weekend to have it, or my Saturday, or what, And the girls were, we're not at nannies. But what she'll do is she'll plough on with sweets. I'll get you some magazines. I'll get you some sweets. You go to nannies. Why the fuck would you not want to see me? I'm their dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, why? Do you know what I mean? It fucking baffles me, mate.
It's even like, this is actually a quote from my mum-in-law. And she's literally said, there's nothing worse than a woman's scorn.
Oh, mate!
Women who think they've been done wrong in life. There's loads that have been, but they will go to great lengths.
Oh, mate!
To hurt you.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying earlier. Like, there's evil men out there, but some evil things I've seen. Of women in relationships. Like, there was that. I think she'd just been done, hadn't she? It was on news the other day. A woman beat herself in the face with a hammer. And blamed these men, and they got locked up for it. They was getting locked up for it.
Now.
And do you know? And I saw a lot of comments on there where women were going, "Oh yeah, that's wrong." But I think, do you not know how many of women do that? Jeez. But there's a lot. I've been in serious similar scenarios in my past. Where a woman's been like, "Oh, do that bruises," and I'll tell people that you've done it. I'm the fuck? No, I didn't. I never. You panic because as a man, you're not going to be believed.
Mate,
women are always believed. And I think, it was funny how shocked women were. Like, I couldn't believe that it wasn't the men that done it. And it's like, well, us men know that majority of the time it's Roy Wolf.
I mean, that's the thing, mate. I literally had it myself. Yeah, I remember when me and the girl's mum, we split up, and I remember I was trying to get a door, and she stood in front of the door, and the door opened outwards.
Yeah.
And like, I went to go out the door.
Yeah.
And she literally like threw herself on the floor and started screaming. So my girls ran out. So the last fucking memory they have when I left the family home, like their mum's on the floor, I'm stood over, and they just like run to my, mummy. Mate, I didn't know what to do. Like, I just bought like a 25 grand car. I went out and just fucking booted the shit out the front of it. I just smashed my car up because I didn't know what I'm just like, why would you do it? Why would you want that memory of my children? Stood over you. I haven't fucking touched you, and it was just But I remember years ago, mate. We had this before we even had the kids, and I remember we'd get in arguments like that, and she'd just get fucking wild, and it was like, and I'm not saying it wasn't me, but we'd have these arguments. And everyone said, you two just need to fucking let it go. Do you know what I mean? And but when you're in when it's so toxic and you're in that shit, you don't see the forest for the trees sometimes. And you think, well, we're not too bad. Do you know? And it was just, and mate, I mean, I can't regret it because I've got my 3 beautiful children from it. Do you know what I mean? Like, to a certain degree, but like, if I could have my girls and not my ex, it'd be amazing. So mate, I'm not going to sit and say I'm fucking perfect and that. And I'm not. But like, one thing I am done is like, our relationship is ended, fucking 5-6 years ago now. So to hold on to this, whatever shit that she's got going on in her head, to the point where, because this is what I mean. If it was like that from the start of the relationship ending, I would not understand it, but it would be like, it needs you. But it wasn't until like when I was single for a year and I was living in my fucking shop because I had nowhere else to go. Like, obviously we just broke up from my family home. I literally left with nothing. Yeah. Like, so when I'm sleeping in the shop and I had fuck all, mate, see your kids as much as you want, and then I got with my partner now, and and it's like I've said this to it's like, my partner's got a son, and I said to my like, Hannah, like, my missus never trying to be a mum to them or anything like that. She's just my partner, and for probably about 2 years, mate. My girls didn't even realise that we were together because I'm not going to go straight from their mum into a relationship and I'm going to, I want this is this woman now, this is going to be this. No, like, mate, I wouldn't even hold. Of course it would, bud. Yeah, mate, I didn't even hold Hannah's hand. All they thought that was my partner now was just some lady that worked in Daddy's shop, which she was, initially, but they never knew any different. Like, because I didn't want to confuse them, so everything happened. Like, if I cheated on my ex partner with my now missus, and we moved in, and come on, let's go be a happy family here now. Yeah, mate, I don't understand my ex going. Do you know what? Fuck you, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because I'll be the same. Big, but that's what scares me now is because there's so many fucking weirdos out there, mate. And it's like, I've got 3 daughters, right? Now, say my ex meets someone, I don't know if she has or not.
Yeah.
Like, when you have another woman, in a relationship where, you know, like I said, my kids come before anything. Their fucking safety and their welfare. Like, I know my missus. She's a fucking angel, mate. She's a beautiful person. So, and I wouldn't have an arsehole around my fucking kids, mate. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and that's so the whole transition happens so fucking, and I'm talking over years, right, mate? But, you know, as kids naturally do, you know, they walk around the house half naked or whatever like that, you know, and then under 90s, whatever the kid, you know, if my ex-missus got some fucking bloke in the house, I want to know who the fuck he is. Because, you know what I mean? Because, because you don't know someone's a fucking weirdo. Do you know what I mean? So God forbid, you know, if anything ever happened and I have to fucking murder someone, then, you know, then that's fine. That's fine. But, you know, because we know, we know exactly, mate. So, you know, so there's that, you know, and I'm just like, but again, I don't think she is with anyone. But again, that's by the way, all I care about is I want to have a relationship with my kids, you know, and it's like, why is that an issue? Do you know what I mean? Why am I being penalised for just wanting to fucking have, you know, like, and mate, it's not just me. Like I said, I could reel off 10, 15 people that I'll tattoo, whether it's happened. It's exactly the same. Like, it could be like a friend of mine, her brother, mate, you know, again, he's ex-forces, beautiful two girls, mate, two beautiful girls. You know, they split up. She's, his girls don't want to know him. He turned to drink and alcohol, mate. I've stopped drinking now. Alcohol, you know, he's fucked now. Do you know what I mean? And it's like all that stems from just not being able to see his kids, you know. And I think as much as, you know, like mental health, you know, people have mental health problems or PTSD and everything, like, mate, there's just as much as like blokes being, you know, not being able to see their children. You know, that's costing lives, mate. People are killing themselves over this. It's a massive issue, mate. You know.
Do you know what I can almost bet as well? Knowing women the way that I do, when, like you're saying, it always comes down to when the guy breaks up. You know, fucking miserable shit like that. Like, she's not being able to talk about your feelings and all this stuff. And then they find a woman that's like, oh my god, I could talk to this girl. She understands me. She actually cares how I feel. That's when the ex then wants to stop these guys seeing their kids and that. It's fucking jealousy. Mate, that's when jealousy is the worst thing for women, and it turns them so. If I'm jealous of a lot of people, you know, doing better than me, nicer car, and I look at him and I go, oh, "You lucky fucker!" Right, come on, I need to get my head sorted out. I've got to try and also get this stuff rolling and stuff like that. But women just turn to hate. It's more like a lust thing. I'm like, right, do you know what? I want something similar to what he's got, so I'll go out there, work hard, and try and get it. But women just, they see red with jealousy, and that's it, right? I hate him, he's a scumbag, and that he's got a new girlfriend. So, you weren't treating him how he deserved to be. Now he's found someone he's happy with. Fucking leave him alone. Like,
that's what I mean. Mate. I mean, when we first split up, you know, I was giving my ex fucking thousands a month. Do you know what I mean? You know, you know, because in my head, like, although we, you know, I was like, I didn't want my girl's life to be affected, so I was just like, fucking bam, bam, bam. I was hemorrhaging money, you know, but at the same time, it didn't matter because I didn't want my kids' lives to be affected in any way. You know, I don't want them to suffer. So, you know, every fucking, you know, every half term, or, you know, bits, you know, school uniform. If they need a new bed, I mean, I'm there. Like, you know, oh, mummy got okay. It's just like, you know, I'd go without me. You know, because my kids come first. You know, it's like.
No, my old man was you know, he was the exact same. He'd always be wearing the same shoes and crap like that, so I could go on school trips and stuff like that. Well, touching back earlier on at the beginning of the show when we were saying, like, you know, making memories and stuff with your man, having memories. There's like, you know, there's simple things. It's like we had battery powered cars and fishing and so all these little things that I kind of you know, I fix on and stuff like that. So especially early on like kids' development, there's memories that are going to stick with them, and like we were just saying, when they get older, they have these memories, and they'll you know, with time comes knowledge. As you get older, you get more knowledgeable. And I used to think I knew stuff when I'm only 25. I thought I knew stuff when I was 20. Did I fuck? But there's so much more now than I did back then. I've got more, I understand a bit more now. And I bet I said the exact same things in 5 years' time. I'll be saying I thought I knew shit when I was 25. No, I didn't. But
of course you do.
I can say now to all women out there, like, your kids will latch onto these memories, and when they get older and start realising that it was you that fucking stopped them from seeing their dad and stuff like that. Then, like we were saying, women can be very evil in situations like that. And I've even heard of daughters completely ridiculing their mum because of it and stop speaking to their mum. I've got mates that don't speak to their birth mum because of what they've done when they was younger. So it'll come back and bite in the ass.
100%, mate. I you know, I'm the same. You know, I know many people that have been exactly the same, and unfortunately for me, it's like it's later on in life. You know, when you've got like a voice, or you can think for yourself or whatever, or So my biggest thing is I don't want to leave it that late. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want my girls. In 10, 15 years, come and knock on my door, man. Do you know what I mean? Because that the idea of that absolutely fucking breaks me. Like, I want to be. I want them 10 years of memories of us. But it's like the same. My. And again, I don't. Well, fuck it. I don't care if she sees us anyway. But so with my ex, she's a big gamer. So when I phone up, speak to my girls, I know for a fact, right? So in their living room, it's warm, it's bright, and they're all sat there, and the hallway light doesn't work.
Yeah.
Now she will never let me speak to my children on fucking FaceTime in the living room. They have to go into the cold, dark fucking hallway. So it's reinforcing that negativity. Like, if I speak to daddy, I can't sit here in the warm in the fucking light. I've got to go out in the cold fucking dark hallway, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Then makes it a bit of an effort.
Of course it does. Yeah. And so it's that negative. So you associate with that negativity. I can't speak to my dad in the fucking hell. So then they go, do you know what? I'm not going to answer the phone. Do you know what I mean? So then, and then you slowly get pushed out, and she knows what she's fucking doing. And
smart. Some women
smart. Mate.
They know what they're doing.
Like you said, I've been all around the fucking world, and I've done many courses in the military and civil. Like, so how to to read, learning patterns and people's emotion and body language and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so reinforce again, but it's a very simple premise of if I speak to my dad, I've got to go out in the cold dark. No, I'm not. So I can see what she's doing. Do you know what I mean? She's not, she's not fucking clever, but it's just, and sometimes they will. So, somebody they used to, should I say? They don't even answer me at all now, but they used to. So, and you slowly get phased out, and it's. But for me, it's like, because they're all gamers and stuff like that. So, the amount of times I've been like, one of my girls is over there playing on, Tamagotchi or whatever the fuck, whatever, on DS, one this one, she's on this one, and it's like three little zombies, and I'm not getting a word out of anyone. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, mate, babe, you're gonna talk to me. Oh yeah. So, but for me, like, I'll take my girls out. We go for a walk down the shore. We go to, I'll get them out in the fresh air. Like, I love cooking, so I've always cooked them fresh meals from scratch. And they're like, oh, yeah, mummy cooks us pasta and shit. But I cook you, like, I remember, like, years ago, and the girls were quite young, and like, when I make spaghetti bolognese and I put a bit of everything in there, and I remember, like, my ex-missus had cooked them spaghetti, and she literally put it in front of my youngest, and she smelled it. She went, no. She went, make it with a nice flavour like Daddy does. And she just like pushed it away. Do you know what I mean? But even that, mate. Do you know what I mean? So I'm making food from scratch. I'm making fresh meals. I care about, like, like my girls. I remember, like, my middle one. She came home one day, it's fucking skin tight uniform on, mate, and it was so tight, mate, it was digging her arm. She couldn't even get it off. Right? She went, Daddy, I need a wee. She went for a shot. Babe, why don't you go for a wee, aren't you, mate? The arms of this fucking thing digging in her. And my girls, obviously they're grown up a bit now, but they were a little bit bigger, like, a little bit bigger girls. So for me, I've always bought them age appropriate, but I cut the labels out so they don't get. Whereas, so my middle one, she used to get quite a little bit conscious about her weight and stuff. Yeah. So if I got her clothes, and I remember, like, I went and cut the label, and also, so as soon as Tansy came home that day, and I was like, fucking hell, mate, I'd literally rip her out of it, so she'd go to the toilet. So I went straight away next day, went to, Tesco's, got her some uniform, cut the labels out, mate, they fitted her beautifully. And she was twirling, I said, darling, she was so happy. I said, babe, take all the dresses home. And she went, oh, no, I can't take it home. Because my ex-missus would give her shit because I bought it for them, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, what sort of a fucked up mum does that? Like, and don't get me wrong, if I bought one and did book my other two girls something, I'd understand getting an attitude. Yeah. But I can judge with Lila and my two youngest girls, so I could get them, like, size appropriate clothing. I know it'd fit them both, and I give, like, my oldest the money because I know she'd get her own stuff, like, she's getting that age now, where she's not into stuff I might buy her, so I'll give her the money for it. Right? So I never left anybody out, regardless. With Lana, my oldest girl, she didn't even though she ignores me, she don't want to speak to me, I always give her the money, so nobody ever got left out. They always got the same amount of money spent on them, but yet my little girl at fucking she was 8 years old, was too fucking worried about taking the school uniform home because I bought it for them, because she gets shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, from what sort of fucked up mum does that? Do you know what I mean?
It's help as well. Like,
exactly.
Does that not help
it's help. Yeah, I'm helping you. Yeah.
Why do you not want to take that help?
That's just what I'm saying, mate. Like, honestly, bud, I remember not long before, like, my girls completely stopped. Like, my middle, she came round. She went, oh, Daddy, Mummy brought us new beds. So I said, it's 300 quid. Do you know what I mean? Towards Mummy, because I know what beds cost. Yeah. So she bought the girls. I'll give her, like, but the fact I'd given her 300 quid and not I hadn't bought, no, I had not bothered, so she couldn't turn around and go, well, I bought the girls new beds. You couldn't. I give her 300 quid, mate. You'd think I just walked up and slapped her in the face. Do you know what I mean? She's got a fucking attitude about it because she can't call me a mug because I'm helping her out. Like, I can't get my fucking head around it, mate. Like, I literally just can't. Like, it's nuts. It's such a. I can't think of any reason. I'm like, why? Like we said before, there's going to be times when you need a rest or you need a break in that, as every parent does. Let me fucking have them then. Yeah. Let me have my girls every other day. That's 3-4 nights in a week. You don't have to cook. You don't have to clean up after them. You don't have to do anything. Like, that's me. I'm on it. You know, what the fuck would you? Yeah. Well, mate, I'd have my girls every fucking weekend, mate. I don't give a fuck. Like, I tattoo like every weekend, so I don't go out drinking. I don't do drugs and that shit. Now, you know what I mean? So, yeah, mate, let me have my fucking girls the weekend. I'd have them every weekend. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Do you know what the funny thing is as well?
Fucking nuts,
man.
There's
so many women out there as well that do exactly that, all while still moaning that men are trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, men are trash.
That's what I mean, mate.
But you're the one that's stopping us.
Yeah.
I done a post the other day on TikTok actually because I found it quite funny. And I think there's about 30 comments of women still trying to argue back against me. And I said, you know, women are saying about we don't like men that treat us bad and stuff like that. And I goes, but the majority of women these days do. They go for these bad boys and, you know, stuff like that. And you know, and there's so many, you know, so many guys get put in the friend zone and stuff like that. And it's something I get confused me about women. It's a bit of a different topic, but it's like, why do they always want to be treated bad? And they say, well, they don't. It's like, well, there's so many nice guys out here, like we were just talking about, who want to see their kids, who want to spend time with them, who want to help out, and they want none of it. But they'll probably go and pick some other dude who's fucking an absolute dick. But they go for it, and I don't know. I don't get why. There's so many good men out here that are trying to do this, and women are kind of going, "Well, where's all the good men at? Like, this is ridiculous. I can't find any." And so start fucking looking.
Yeah.
Like
fucking
the 1%. The men that these women are on about is 1%. The other 99% are there, but they're wearing a blindfold, walking around, going, "Oh, fucking, there's no men out there." It's like you fucking there's men right in front of you that are trying to do the best they can, and I don't know. Like I was saying, it's like I don't know. It's a trophy thing of women hold the kids up and go, "Look, this is my trophy," or what? I don't know. But honestly, I'd like to. Well, we'd like to hear from women more. If you know women that's doing that, did you speak out against it? Did you tell them they was doing wrong?
Yeah.
Or like not all women, but majority of women, did you just stay quiet and just try supporting your friend? Which is it's ridiculous.
It is, mate. That's a good point. I mean. It's very weird, isn't it? You know, like we've said so many times, like, you know, if you're in a toxic relationship, you know, and we've said, look, guys, you know, try and change it, situational, you know, leave, you know, do what's best for you. And it's like, but I know, like, you know, like I said to you before, you know, if you throw enough shit, something's going to stick. And I remember, like, even like now, you know, like when I was to take my girls to school, you know, fuck me, I know half the people in the playground, mate. Like, I've tattooed half of them. Like, they know me, you know, or they know me better than they do my ex. But yeah, she's gone around and shits her that much that, like I said to you, you know, I was standing in the playground and it was like, fuck me, mate. You'd think I brought COVID into the country. Or you know, it's like my mum, mate. Yeah. They went to look at me. Do you know what I mean? And like, and I had a friend of mine, so I've been seen. I know it full well. So I've been seen speaking to her in the school playground, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to name the girl, but bless her. You know, trust me, there's no threat of going there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've known the girl for a long time, like decades, right? So she approached me and she's like, "Was your Mrs. So and so?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know?" She's like, "Yeah, well, she approached me in the school playground. I was like, oh, do you know, Carl did this, Carl did that, blah blah blah." Man, she just spread a little shit about me. She come and had a go at me about it, right? And she's like, "Dude, that's fucking out of order." And I'm like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Like, what's that? Yeah, like, what's out of order, mate? Like, you've known me for fucking 20 years. I was like, and yet a stranger comes up to you, you know, and a female says something about that. I did this and did that. So and then but rather than coming to me and go, "Mate, look, you know, I've had this woman approach," she come up and like chastise me. Yeah, like, fucking dude, that was out of order. I'm like, mate, what the fuck are you on about? Like, don't talk to, you know. I was like, no, don't bother talking to me, mate. If you're gonna, like, you know, and it was just, but I've seen it so many times, bud. Like, and I'm not slanting any women or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's just, I don't know why women. Or some women, should I say, let them get in themselves in a situation where they're so you know, I fucking hate the term baby mama or baby daddy, whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I fucking hate that term. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's the father of your fucking kids or the mother of your kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, be a fucking adult, you know, and say what it is. But it's like some people get so fucking, like you said, so caught up in that toxic. Even like I said, even when you split up, that mate, I've heard some fucking horror stories, man, of like what blokes have done, you know, even to their, you know, like they split up with their ex-missus, and you know now they've, you know, mentally played mind games with their children and fucking this, that, and the other. Like, you know, and that shit just blows my mind, mate. It's wild because it's like, you know, like instance, like my children are old enough to understand the difference between right and wrong. They're taught that in school, right? So the only thing I've ever said to my kids, you know, I'm not baby like this. You know, it hurts, Daddy, when you talk to me like this. You know, you shouldn't treat someone like. And it's like, then I've got, you know, messages from my ex-missus. Why are you fucking talking to the kids like that? You know, sending them your big. No, they don't give a fuck what you know. And I'm like, no, I'm telling them my feelings, how hurt I am. You know, and I do it in a way that you know, my youngest is 7. I'll do it as a 7, darling. You know, it hurts, Daddy, when you speak to me. You know, you don't want to see me and blah blah blah. Like, I always want to see you. I love you, and you know, just you know. And it's like, so it's not like I've written a massive like essay about what, you know. But I'll send them a message, you know. And then I get a message from my ex-missus, I don't fucking talk to the girls, like, you know, they don't care. And I'm like, hang on a minute, what the, do you know what I mean? So, but then it's like you said, I do know a lot of women that are still wrapped up in, you know, I mean, there's no emotions or feelings, you know, in terms of like, you know, wanting to, you know, it's almost like she doesn't want me, but no one else can have me either. Do you know what I mean? Like, she hates me. Do you know what I mean? But you know, so I'll get, there are some relationships where you split up with your ex. Yeah, you're still bitter, but you still love the other person. And, you know, and it's all gone fucking tits up, and you've gone past the point of no return. Yeah. But for the most part, you know, when there's someone that you split up with their, you know, they split up their, you know, the father of their kids or whatever, but yet they still, I don't know, mate. It's like it's just so wrapped up in what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? And hurting the other person, but. The only people that suffer is the kids, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's who's gonna and like I said, when they get older, then that person is then gonna pay for it. And you know, it's a strange thing as well, because I'm hoping, you know, guys that are watching this, because there's probably people that are going through similar things, thinking they're alone. You're not. It's happening to a lot of men out there.
And, good fucking men, and you're not to blame. Do you know what I mean? You know,
and even if they are at the point where you are giving up, and people saying, "Oh, you've given up," mate, it's understandable. You know, if the women are making it that impossible for you to be able to speak out to see your kids, stuff like that, mate, you're not to blame. Obviously, if you're trying and stuff like that, if you're not trying, then you are to blame, dude. But like, do you know what I mean? You are like a good man out there, and you're trying and stuff like that, mate, and you're at the point where you're starting to give up. You know, always try to see the bright future, but like, don't feel bad on yourself, and you know, because. There's more people than you think that are
go through the same thing. Yeah, that's it, bud. You know, because even for me, and I say like, even for me, like, I'm a fucking hero. It's not that. It's just you know, I fought tooth for nail, mate. And like I said, I saw that meme the other day, and it's just like, you know, don't chase him, don't beg for love and stuff like that. You know, and I did try it, mate. You know, and there was a little time I thought, you know what, I'll give it like a week or two, thinking maybe that, you know, and it just fell on fucking deaf ears, mate. But even for me, like. You know, when people, like I said, again, I've harped on about it, but when people say, you know, oh yeah, mate, you know, eventually they will see, you know, I'm like, mate, they're 7, 9 and 12. That comes when you're 15, 16, you know, and you can, you know, I'm not waiting that long to see my kids, you know, like, so I don't know, mate. I don't.
That gap to go past.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, seeing one of the comments, if a man wants to be there for their children, why would you deprive them of that,
mate?
Exactly. That's the thing. That's all. That's obviously the question that a lot of men are asking. But why ain't women asking this? It's one of these things. Yeah, I mean, always like, oh, I wonder why. But you never hear women asking other women, you know, why the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah, mate, I would, mate, like, that's a fucking, I would love for another woman, to, you know, it's hard, isn't it? Because, like you said, you know, and again, I know I've used the term already, but like you said, you know, if you throw enough shit around, you know, and you just bang, 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 and you're just putting that shit out there in the world constantly, like, you know, I'm this, I'm that. You know, because, like I said, because I'm not big on social media, I've only got a few friends, or more to the fact, I'm fucking 41 years old, and I can't be bothered to argue or fight my case. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it takes fucking effort, mate, to be that negative all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like my ex is older than me, bro. Do you know what I mean? She's fucking 44. I'm 41. Yeah, no, she's 44, 45. You know what I mean? So, you know, and she's doing all these like courses where she's like counselling people and all this like mental reset and stuff. And I'm like, how can you how can you claim to be fucking helping other people when you're pushing your fucking ex-husband to the point where like I want to fucking kill myself, mate. There was a couple of times I thought about it, mate. You know what I mean? Like, because it's just like I said to you, like I fucking imploded, like where I was just like, well, when Ukraine kicked off, do you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck it, what's the point of being here? Like, I'm gonna go and fucking fight again. So, mate, I even applied to get a visa and that. Like, I was fucking going, mate. Me and my missus, like, if you need to do that, well, my partner now, if you need to go and do it, you go and do it. You go and fight because, and then I think about maybe redoing my courses and getting my med quals back up and going back out to Afghan or Iraq or do security and that, and because I need to be on that fringe again where I'm not, but that was that impulsive imploding part side of me, and it's just like,
but that's what this is pushing men to
do. Fucking right is, mate. Mate, I've got my shit together and I'm a fucking mentally strong person, but there are times where and it's fucking hard because it's always the ones that you love that you take out on. Do you know what I mean? So like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like violent or horrible to my partner, but she's the one that has to bear the grunt of me, like I'm on this constant fucking vicious cycle, mate. Like I said, where like I said, I have to find that dark part of my brain again where I'm like I need to be okay with not seeing my kids, but then I beat myself up, or I'm going to go fucking mad, but then and then the other side of my brain's well, no, you shouldn't have to be alright with not seeing your kids, and so the two of them are constantly fucking, my brain's like bang, 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 and then that's why I end up fucking snapping, mate, and blokes either do something stupid or,
But that's the thing, in society you hear, obviously it's not condoning it in any way, but there's a lot of male murderers out there and stuff like that. But if you look in, it's something that I find interesting. A weird thing to be interested in, but like I then research and you look into like documentaries come out and stuff like that after. And if you look into the past, what shit they went through, and I sit there thinking, fucking hell, no wonder that guy snapped and ended up doing a shooting spree. Like it's like because he like suffered growing up like that. Like,
fucking abuse or
years and years and years was abusing him and then cheated on him and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? And when men really start acting on their feelings, this is what happens. It's like, it really is. This is why crime goes up, and a lot of men are out there doing it. But like I said before, everyone goes, "Oh, you're responsible for your own actions." But I'm always thinking, how did he get like that? What drove him to that? A lot of the women are just like, look how bad he is. Like, oh, he's such a bad person. But I see it as, but why? Why is he like that?
I mean,
Because I've been there. Like, I've been like. I'll say how I was a few years ago is completely different to how I am now. I'm a bit better recently, but in the past, like losing my temper, it's like walking my dog. Just so people know what I'm on about. I was walking my dog maybe about like 8-9 months ago now, and this man and this husband, like they were stood in their porch bit, and there was a gate, and they could see me walking down. I made eye contact with them. They were about 10 houses down. They see me walking down with my big Rottweiler. And as soon as I get next to it, they then let their little dog out. So he comes out yapping, my dog aggressive, goes through it and stuff like that. And God, mate, I snapped so fucking bad. I threatened him. I was like, you fucking, I went mental. I was like, how stupid are you and stuff like that. And that was just due to not even their fault. It was an accident.
Well,
because of the crap I'd been going through.
Exactly.
It was at that point I realised, I was like, oh my shit, if I don't sort out my own mental health now, myself including, people are going to start getting hurt. Like,
exactly, mate. Mate, I'm exactly the same. My missus in it fighting my partner because coming from sort of different sort of boxing and various things. That's where I'm literally the same, mate. I was in the same situation where my partner's just like, look, you need to try and find a way to positive, channel everything because you'll end up fucking killing someone, or and it's either. It's a lose-lose, mate. Because, like you said, innit, if you'd have snapped that day, you hurt someone. You're going to prison. That's your life fucked. Or or they fucking hurt you. Do you know what I mean? God forbid, or they're carrying a knife or anything like that. You get fucking stabbed, mate. You're fucked. You can't. So it's lose-lose. And I think Jocko was like Jocko Willink. He was the same thing. He's like, someone said to Jocko, he's the same. One of the probably best jiu-jitsu practitioners, in America, and ex-Navy SEAL, 6 foot odd. I mean, fucking big, very, very, very capable guy, And they said, what would you do if someone come up to you? And he's like, if someone comes up to me, I'll run away because we've got 2 fucking legs. I'll run away, And they're like, if I get into it, I'll run away. He said, but the second you put your hands on me, it's a different situation. But he said, I'll run away. Well, he said, and that's, it really hit home when he said it because he goes, say that I hit the guy, he goes down, he gets, as whatever, I'm going to prison, or he then hurts me or whatever. I can't do, and it is, mate. It's lose all round. But I know, like, it's easy to sit here and say that, but mate, I've been, yesterday, day before, there's been instances where I've just lost my shit, because like you said, you just, it's hard, mate.
It's even like for me, I'll openly say, like, when I was such a family orientated person, where I was always thinking of my family all the time, I'd do anything and stuff like that, but there's so much like neglect throughout my life. Like we said about shutting off your feelings, I now sit there and I just don't care about anything. It's a horrible thing, as people say it's a heartless thing to be like, but it's more heartless to myself and to yourself. Because to have no emotional attachment to anything anymore, because you've been that badly hurt throughout your life.
Exactly.
Shut it off to that degree, to when you're sat there trying to have a good time with your family, but like it's not a horrible way, but in some horrible way, it's like you sat there and you're like, I don't really want to be here. I don't want to spend time with these. I want to go, and it's the truth, and that's not your fault.
No,
it's what it does mentally. Changes that much where you just
it does, mate. 100%. But mate, I've been exactly the same. Like, there's situations or something happened. Like now, like I think it's that self-preservation thing where I've been in situations in the army, or and I've seen the fucking worst human beings can do to each other. And I think when you go to them places, in them dark places where you're like, I'll shut that off, or I'm gonna shut my, unfortunately, the one thing that the army did, it wasn't the army trained me as such to do that, but that mental fortitude come from the situations that I've been in throughout my life, and I'm the same, mate. Like, when fucking shit happens, I can switch. Like my partner, I love her more than anything, but like, she'll tell you, man, we have an argument, whatever, and I'm just like, okay, and I could walk out that door, mate, and I'll be on, and in that moment, I do not give a flying fuck about anything. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been that trained to just like, and again, like, former relationships in the way my ex was with me and everything like. The first, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? It's my fucking house, mate. But she'd go, get the fuck out. And I'll go and I'll sleep in this fucking shop. Fucking freezing, mate. But because she said, get out, and I would leave, and it was like, okay, cool. So like, I'm the same right now. Things will happen and I'll just, mate, emotionally just shut the fuck down. I don't like, and then I'll get to the points where I'll get so fucking angry. I remember the other day, I was upstairs and, I think it's like after my girl wished me happy birthday, and then I tried engaging a bit more with her, and then I got ignored again. Do you know what I mean? And it made me so fucking angry. I mean, I remember sitting upstairs, and I thought I could smash this fucking house to pieces right now. Like, and it wouldn't again. Don't get me wrong. I'm not because it was just in that moment. I just shut down, and I was just like, I could just fucking wreck the place, mate. You know what I mean? And it took everything in me not to do it.
Stop yourself.
Stop myself. And I'm just,
that's the thing, though. Is where women don't understand. They go, when men get angry, why do they get so aggressive? It's like, well, when women get angry, they cry. The men's variant of that, 9 out of 10 times, is anger. That's how most men show their sad emotion is through anger, destruction. It sounds bad, but that's how it is. It's how the majority of men are. And we understand as men that women's coping mechanisms, they cry. They cry when to show their emotion that they're upset. That's them, and we're like, okay, that's how it is with women. How it is with men. It's a bit of a difference, but that's the problem with it. It's if you are at home with your man and they they're getting more destructive than that, then think why? What mentally is going on? Bless you.
Bless you. Thank you. No, mate. No, exactly that. It's that is something. I am getting better. Like, and it's something I think my partner now is definitely drawn out of me. Where well, I've gone to sort of leave, and she's like, "Where the fuck are you going?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna leave. Have an argument." I'm she's like, "No, dickhead." Like, so and it's like, and I think again, like, showing my emotions and stuff like that. Like, it was, no. To be fair, like, I've never been your stereotypical fucking alpha male or anything like that. I've never found it hard to show my emotions either. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I did those, that live before, not live, that little reaction video and that, because stuff like that triggers you. And I think just fucking let it out, mate. Because I think if I don't have a cry every now and then, and and I do, mate. Like, literally, I could probably say I'll probably cry once a day, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was this advert, and it's a little Down syndrome girl. She's blind and she's feeling her way. I don't know if she's feeling her way around the school with that bit of string, and I think like, mate, it fucking absolutely destroys me every time I watch it because I'm like, look how brave she's being. She's blind and that, and she's feeling her way around the school, and she finds her way back to class, and and it's just, mate, So I've never. I think people that know me find it odd. Before, like I said, like a couple of weeks back, I went around my mates, and bless him, like my mate Lewis and his husband, beautiful home, and they love hosting, So little Thursday club where everyone goes around and we have a few drinks and stuff, and just catch up. And these are kids that I've known, kids, fucking 41 years old. These are lads that I've known since we were 4 or 5 years old at school. So, and bless him, my mate Aaron, I didn't realise because I haven't seen him for a few years, but he's like the waffler of the group, right? And we were driving over there, and I was like, I wonder if fucking Aaron's going to be waffling in. And I didn't realise. So, but when we got there, we were having a few drinks, and fucking Aaron was like, Barry. And we were just talking, and I don't know how it came up, but I haven't met Lewis's husband, bless him. So G was there. We were just chatting away, and he just said, "Oh, what would you just do?" Because I was like, "Oh, my tattoo artist used to be in the forces and that." And I just started telling him a couple of stories, and without me, like, the room was just fucking deadly. So I mean, you could hear a pin drop. Do you know what I mean? Everyone around the table just shut the fuck up. And I got like quite aware that everyone was listening to me talk. And for me, it was just like, I was just telling them a few stories and that, and I've got emotional, mate. I mean, I said when my mate had his legs fucking blown off and that, and then it just got to me. I hadn't spoke about it for years, and I had a little cry, mate. But like lads that know me, George, he's a boxer and he's done it. And they don't expect you to, and not in a negative, but people don't. I think people that know me and I know the sort of lifestyle, it's like, this. I spoke like Stevie Mate's thing. I'm like fucking James Bond, we used to do CP and out in Afghan and around. You run around with guns and shit. Everyone thinks, oh wow, So it's like a world apart. But for me, that's just my life. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's just random. But it's quite nice. But but people that like yourself, like Uncle Dino, people that know me. I'm fucking open book, mate, and my emotions are always at the surface, and I think it's good to. I think sometimes, you feel better after a little cry sometimes, man. It's like fucking let it out, mate.
Because that's the thing. Like, I've come across a lot of. I call them chavs. I don't give a fuck what people think. Chavvy kids out there that I don't cry and this and that and that, and I'm like, why have you got to try and act so big? Is it because personally you're not big at all? Right?
Yeah,
that's the difference. You've got men that ain't afraid to show their emotions because majority of their lifestyle they've had to be fucking tough, hard, and stuff like that. That's why they can be a bit emotional around certain people and stuff like that. But for the guys you got out there going, I'll do this and do that and do that, it's fucking get over yourself, mate. You're just an idiot, and the only person you're gonna hurt in the end is yourself.
I do. I suppose it's almost like pity in some ways, because there are so many lads, especially where we grew up, stuff like that, and like I've never seen one of them cry, mate. Do you know what I mean? And then look at thingy the other week, bless him, tried taking his own life and that, and it's like, I think that it annoys me because I remember, there's a situation that happened. Like you'll know about it, but I won't go into it. But I remember one of the lads, it fucking broke him, and it kept, fucking man up, don't cry about it. You know what I mean? And it was a fucking horrific fucking thing that happened. And I talk about a thing, but and I thought that was really fucking hard, man, for like that, when blokes, someone's really struggling like that, and in this fucking alpha male environment, and everyone's don't cry, man up, it didn't happen to you, blah blah blah. I think that's that's a fucking horrible attitude to have, mate, towards life, because it don't matter, mate. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know why, and my girls always known that as well. Do you know what I mean? They always see me crying, like, fucking Britain's Got Talent, or Pop Idol or whatever. Always something that gets me going. And I don't know, mate. So they've always known that. But
it's even like one of my older workplaces. There's a guy who's reasonably new. Like I said, he might watch this and he'll know who he is. And it is funny because towards the end, when I stopped working at this other job place, we weren't seeing too much eye to eye at the end. But even at the beginning, he started new, and me and my mate were training him like electrics and stuff like that, getting along fine. And then it's like out of nowhere, like a few weeks, like I suppose working with for so many hours each day, you then start becoming mates naturally. Stop off like on a Friday evening, like we used to, like it's over Thursday, Friday. We stop off at the pub on the way back, stuff like that. But like he started telling me the story where he had 2 kids with his missus, and he said like all of a sudden I'd have liked to hope that I helped him actually find it out, because he goes, all of a sudden she wants to go out drinking all the time. She's going out to the bar all the time, and I goes, what, like every weekend? He goes, no, like 2, 3, 4 nights a week. Ooh. And I went, what? And this has just started. He goes, yeah, she likes, and then she wants to go back to her friends and party and do this.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, dude, you need to check up on her. I goes, because I can almost guarantee she's seeing someone else.
Yeah.
I goes, if she doesn't want to stay with you and the kids and go out, I goes, if she wants to go out once a week, whatever, with the girls and that, to have a little break from the kids while you've been out working, that fair enough. Like, you understand that, but and it turns out, she was she found someone else and cheating on him and stuff like that, and it fucking destroyed him. And every day I made sure I asked him about it. I was like, how are you doing stuff like that? I was like, if you need help, mate, with somewhere to stay, I was like, there's a spare room. I go, you're more than welcome. I made sure I offered that, because I could see on his face how much it was eating.
Oh man, yeah.
And the whole time I was sat there like, how the fuck could she do this to
me?
And then that's when he's going to become a bad person. Maybe.
Well,
like, it's
because you fucking. I mean, that's like you said. It's so hard, because for me, it's like, if you've got to that point where you want to cheat on someone, fucking leave, man. Like, don't, because it's so fucking hard on that person. Like I said, they're at home with your kids, and they're like, mate, it was just like, it didn't make you end it, Like, I had once, someone I knew, and they were like. Well, actually, I don't really care. Yeah, so my ex-missus, her sister was cheating on her husband. Do you know what I mean? And I went and fucking told him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because and do you know what? He respected me for it. And then it all come out, and then it's like, but no, like he's a good mate.
Bad one that,
oh no, I didn't care, mate. No, but he was good as gold about it. But
to say you know how it goes, then
but that's it. Yeah, but end of the day, mate, like, he settled, mate. But he is a grafter, mate. That man worked his bollocks off. And he's been there all the kids' lives. I mean, and the kids were like, I think they were like 18 and 16 at the time.
Yeah.
And I went and told him, but like my ex knew, her, even their mum knew. Do you know what I mean? Like, that she was cheating on her husband. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, he's a good fucking man. Do you know what I mean? Like, nothing but he works his bollocks off, mate. He used to work away, 4 or 5 nights a week sometimes. He was, doing like, I won't go too much, but all he did was provide, mate. And I thought, no, you can't do that to him,
like that scenario clip, I don't know if you saw on TikTok, with like, I want kids and a man does it, I want marriage and a man does it, and you need to work more because I want this and a man does it. Right. That was actually a clip that was given by my old section commando, Warren. He actually sent that over.
Wow.
And I used it because I was like, this is a perfect depiction of what a lot of men go through. And that's the thing, because women do turn around, he's like you say, working away and stuff like that, and they turn around and go, well, you want to spend time with me, and it's like, well, what do you want? Do you want to be provided for and spend a bit of time, or just spend time and have to go work out yourself? Like, you just don't know what, like, men can openly tell women what they want. Women do not know what they want. Majority of the time, relationship, you ask women what she wants, I don't know. What are we eating tonight? I don't know. Well, it's like that you could, like, men are openly out here, good men, telling you, what things are going to do, how they're going to help you and stuff like that. And it's almost like women ignore you, or why then blaming you. And like, how do you win?
I think, it's a bit of a, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because it's like we sort of said yesterday. It's like there gets a situation where, you've been together that long, which they had been, up to that point, together, I don't know, make 30 odd years, whatever. But, there gets a point where you do, naturally, that, if you've got kids especially, or, you become a mum and a dad, you know what I mean? You almost forget that you're husband and wife, or you're in a relationship, or even if you're not married, you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, or you're engaged or whatever, it's just like, or same-sex partners, whatever, you kind of lose sight of that sometimes, do you know what I mean? Like, work gets in the way or whatever, instead of someone's working away, and you just get used to, like, I think that's where my relationship went for like 5-6 years,
Yeah,
I was at the country 9 months a year, and that's all well and good. So when we came home, it was like, all right, we're going on holidays and this, that, and the other. There was nothing to argue about, So when I started tattooing, but it was hard for me because, like looking back, sometimes when if you're unsure of something, or and your partner encourages you, no, go on, it's becoming from a place of love sort of thing, and then encouraging. But for me, it was like when I was working out in Afghan, and I just started doing CP and stuff, and Lani was born, and she was a baby. I was away for her first birthday, and I missed a lot of shit, because I was away so much. And I'd sit at Heathrow Airport, mate, and she'd drop me off, and my fucking stomach would be nuts, sorry, because you know, we lost a couple of clients, got fucking blown up and shit, you know. So, you know, you're not just out walking around, you know, Iraq or Afghanistan and like, you know, I wasn't armed just for the fun of it. Like I was, you know, I was keeping people alive. Do you know what I mean? And I was using all my years of expertise to fucking keep these people alive, you know. So it wasn't like I'm not playing games, you know. And yeah, you know, so I'd sit every time, you know, every couple of months, you know, you go away for a couple of months, come home from them, and the time would be so fucking pressure, and it was getting harder and harder to leave, you know.
Yeah.
But and she'd go, "Oh no, don't be stupid," a bit. Oh, I don't know, mate. You know, especially when, you know, we're babies and that. You know, they drop me off at the airport. She'd be asleep, and I'd kiss on, you know, my little girl, and I think, "Fucking hell, what was if the last time I see her?" Do you know what I mean? What if I died on this rotation, and I don't see her? Do you know what I mean? So that always played in my mind. But she's my ex, don't be stupid, you know what I mean? And, you know, crack on sort of thing. And then it was, you know, and it was never from a place of love or encouragement. It's just she just didn't give a fuck, you know. And I saw that now after, you know, I mean, it took a long time together, but it was, yeah, mate, yeah, you know, it's
one of those things that is so. But like you were saying, where you sit in your own house and you weren't allowed to talk about certain things.
Yeah, mate, never let me.
But this is like. This is a lot of what, like, you know, male friends I'm surrounded by talk about. And I'm like, well, why don't you talk to your missus about it? He's like, oh, no, I can't do that. She gets bored of it. And I'm like, this is the thing. Like, you know, if women have got problems and they want to talk to a man about it, it's the end of the world, you know. And we sit there and listen and, you know, and stuff like that. And they'll go on and waffle on and stuff like that. But we listen and try to help them best we can. Even though we do throw out solutions and they still ignore it, like most women do. But like, I don't understand why there's so many women out there that just do not want to listen to their partner and help them. And it's sad, really. It's just...
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that comes down to like each relationship is kind of different, mate. Isn't it? Yeah, like I said, but it's just I think if you are in that situation, that's fucking, you know, that's shit, mate. You know, and I feel for them. You know what I mean? But I don't know, mate. I've you know, it's hard for me because I'm very lucky where, you know, to be in a relationship now, coming, like I said, I've been in bad, toxic fucking, you know, relationships and stuff like that. And it's like coming from a place where, you know, my missus is so like encouraging and understanding, and, you know, like her son's got autism and stuff like that. So, you know, she basically raised him on her own, mate. You know what I mean? So it's like, she's fucking patient, mate. She's kind, she's loving, and I mean, fucking deserves a medal for putting up with me at times. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and go, I'm fucking perfect, because I'm very, very much, you know, very far from it, mate. You know, and I'm a complex fucking cat, and, you know, at times, but I think it's just, you know, she's made me, you know, like, accept a lot of things. You know what I mean? And, you know, I can't change. And I think, had I not had my missus through all this shit now, like, I'll probably, I don't know if I'd be here, mate, to be honest. I would have fucking either be in prison for killing someone or kill myself, you know? You know, but, you know, but I mean, there is that, like, yeah, it's strange, mate. So it's hard, you know. I do feel for people, like when you say, you know, like when women, you know, sort of, you know, not when you know, you bring up more issues that you understand more, like, you know, women listen, because for me it's quite hard, because, you know, my missus, like you said, she's fuck me, mate. She's amazing. Do you know what I mean? So she deserves a medal, you know. But it's yin and yang, and
it's the same as like me. Like, I found someone now that I can talk to, but the amount of different women that didn't, it's crazy. It's like out of 10 women, there'll probably only be one that's willing to be in a relationship and, do you know what I mean, also pay attention to the man's feelings and stuff like that. It's a rare thing, and so many women comment all the time, like when I post these videos on TikTok and that, saying, "Oh wow, I do it." But the amount of women that don't, it's a greater number. It really is, and and obviously a lot of guys that message in saying, "Oh, I saw you speaking on this podcast or doing that," and my ex partner didn't do this, my current partner doesn't do this, and I mean, the only advice I suppose we could kind of give is, like, you know, if you are in a relationship and, you know, your partner isn't listening to you, you kind of have to sit down and say, look, you don't let me talk about these things. You know, you're not being more open to my feelings. If you're not willing to, you know, kind of go 50-50 and listen to me, I don't want to be with you anymore. Because I know saying, like, kind of stuff like that to women might maybe open their ears a little bit. I'm not saying how serious it is. Because like you said, a lot of women take it for a joke when you try being serious. Oh, you'll be all right, you're fine like that. And it's like, right, okay. I just don't think a lot of women kind of understand it. But then, of course, if you've never tried to tell them, then...
Well, that's it, mate. I mean, it's trying something new, isn't it? It's like you said, there's so many ways of trying to save a relationship and stuff like that. I mean, and again, what we said a lot about, before is communication, and that's key, isn't it? Communication, and it works both ways. I mean, there's there's a lot of fucking I say toxic, I suppose, very outdated thinking men out there where it's like, I come in from work, I want my fucking dinner ready on the table. A woman should do the washing up, a woman should do the clip washing. Fuck that, mate. Do you know what I mean? I do the cooking in our house. I can clean them. Well, I can iron. Fucking iron better than my missus can, bless her. And so I can. But it works both ways, doesn't it? Like you said, do you know what I mean? If my missus is, like we said, if my missus has been out of work all day, do you know what I mean? And she's grafted, mate, I'd fucking love putting the Hoover around and I'll blitz the place because, like I said, being ex-forces, mate, I can fucking make anything disappear in our house. It's like, I'll hide shit everywhere, and and I'll blitz the house, and I love doing it. We've got 2 great big dogs as well, so I love putting, I've always put the Hoover around anyway and stuff like that. So I think it's. And I love cooking. Bless her, I'm a better cook than my missus, and she'll even agree with that. That's not being me, Ben. I love cooking, mate. Yeah. But again, it works both ways. Like you were saying, a lot of women don't listen to their partners. A lot of men don't listen to their missus. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think I know we're focusing on like men's mental health because we want to give men a platform to speak on, you know what I mean? But we understand it does work both ways. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, if your missus has, been fucking running around after the kids all day and you're getting from work, I understand you've been grafting, mate. But before you fucking sit down and mate, just I don't know, just put the Hoover around or throw some stuff in the dishwasher, out your missus. Do you know what I mean? Because mate, I love my girls more than anything, but I'd rather go graft all day than look after 2 kids. You know what I mean? Because it's hard work. I don't mean that literally, but it's hard work, mate. Because it's non-stop. So.
But like you said, though, it's good that to make a platform where guys can speak. Because as we're saying, like guys that are being a bit more quiet, not doing as much and stuff like that, sometimes a lot of the women just get angry over it. But it's like, maybe just stop and ask him. Try to communicate with each other.
Exactly.
It's for you, both of your benefits. So a lot of women out there, you can really help yourselves if you just kind of
communicate what you
because a lot of men. You can't shame men for it. A lot of men are raised to not speak out. It's the same. I think a lot of women need to understand. There's a lot of men raised in schools and so on. Like we talked about on yesterday's podcast. Being told not to speak out. So if they're provided that question by their loved one and so on, then maybe they can think, oh, all right, okay, no, so it's all right to speak to me about this, and you'd be surprised at what you open up out of that can once you do. You find out a lot of. A lot of truths from the guys, so
now
worth doing it.
I mean, I'm fucking me and my missus. We sit there, we watch fucking Made in Chelsea, fucking Sex in the City. I love it. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's quite start gossiping about Made in Chelsea, but and when we watch all sorts of stuff together, and when we're quite it's just that old cliche, like she is my best friend. You know what I mean? And I'm very lucky, and I feel people are very lucky because my partner's got loads of friends, and they haven't found what we've got. Because we are, we gossip and we fucking chat and we natter and we just that, So she is like,
it's just laughing because it's like if said to guys like especially with us and ex-forces, right? It's like I said, guys, I've watched Made in Chelsea and this and that. We've watched that, and I stare at them and think, I've done shit that make you fucking cry at night. Don't try like that with me.
Exactly.
You got a lot of men that's a bit of stigma. Like, no, I don't watch that. I do. But that's a bit of a girl. It's like, so. I've done things that fucking. That's a bit crazy. Is there someone at the door? Is it? Yeah. Don't worry, guys. We operate out of the coolest tattoo shop in the world, but customers do sometimes knock the door. Yeah, that's all right. We'll wrap it up now.
All right, mate. Yeah, cool.
But guys. So please subscribe, message them with any of your questions and queries, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching.